pork and beans. Oh, I don't care if the grease ain't burning. I don't care if the food ain't free. I don't care when your ass starts to cooking. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of planet Earth and beyond, stretching far off into the galaxy, as far as your mind's eye and your imagination can take you. Welcome to the Pork and Bean Show, starring Pork Cunningham and Frank Oliver Baines. We're going to introduce you to new thoughts, put questions in your head, and consider things you've never considered before. Where the paranormal becomes the normal, where unreal becomes real, and where love is everything. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
I sent Kevin a Zoom link just in case we can dupe him into working for us again.
Who, Kevin Royce?
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about anything. What does he know? He just knows how to sit on the couch and go. That's all he does.
Oh, he's kind of like the Ed McMahon on the couch kind of guy, you know.
Well, you know, can you
How I
still
sound
hear?
right now.
Can you still hear a little bit?
I can hear you perfectly.
Well, you don't need to listen. You know, you don't need to even talk. You just be there and look pretty.
Well, that's your job. You're the world's handsomest man, after all.
I am the world's. I am so beautiful to me. Can't you see?
Look
You're
at what
everything I asked for. Oh, there's a blessed water.
the wise choice today. Yeah, I didn't sleep a wink.
I'm sitting here just chatting away when I need to have some things.
Yeah, get those things done. And
I need to do something here.
I'll see if I can dupe anybody into coming on and joining us as well.
Send him an invite. I mean, I don't know who this guy is. I mean, what do we know about him?
Well, he's probably listening right now. So
Oh, I forgot. Here I'm going to go shooting off doing things, and I don't even have the link.
You know that, Beans? We can't talk bad about people until we're off air.
Oh. Except for Kevin. Tony Maples. I think it's going to be a great show. So I'm saying that for people who might be listening.
Yeah. Well, positive thinking, right? I'm sure he's listening right now. So say nothing but kind words. No disparaging comments. Sending lots of invites out, but so far nobody's seen it. So
nobody's going to do it. Nobody's gonna for this. Gotta give it time, man. You only been 10 minutes.
We had to get some guy on that like totally hasn't even heard of Sasquatch and like totally thinks it's ridiculous. Have an in-depth conversation with them. What do you think of that idea?
Oh, it just sounds like a disaster, and
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it?
who knows Tony Maples? Was you the one who know him, or was it me? I don't remember.
Well,
He said some cool things, but I don't really know his story too much.
no, I don't either. But he's friends with Arla.
Oh, okay. So he's pretty much in there.
I think so.
We got some
Yeah,
other
it'll
great
be good.
we got some other great shows coming up too, man. Some fantastic out of the ballpark stuff's going to be happening.
Oh yeah, like what?
I can't tell you because I'm busy.
It's funny when you don't get any sleep. I'm liable to start laughing at anything. Even you.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I figured if I'm not in a FEMA camp next year, we'll have another gathering.
FEMA camps, yeah.
If I'm not in one.
I wonder if they're going to have internet in the FEMA camps to keep everybody,
You know what though? I was
3
thinking,
meals a day on the internet. We don't care. Camp sounds good.
I was thinking on the upside of that, there's going to be a lot of really enlightened and in tune people in those camps.
Well, probably a lot of sex too, unless they keep everybody separated.
Just give us an island, like Gilligan's Island or something, like the Enlightenment Island. Take us there.
Give it a nice name, and everybody be get down for it.
Yeah. Doesn't even have to be a prison.
Well, according to the master plan, they're going to take out 500 million people, 500 million people by 2025, and which is kind of shocking, but I think that 200 million of them are going to come out of the United States. So we're going to drop. That means 2 out of 3 people will be dead by 2025. That's the big New World Order for you. Wear your mask, take your injections, and get sent off to FEMA camps if you complain.
Sounds like an adventure. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure something bad's going to happen, but something bad is always happening. Something good is always happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, yesterday I just had that peace and whatever. I just thought whatever happens, I'm good with.
We still got to do some work. Maybe, I don't know when we can do some work on trying to get a pork and beans channel. The pork and beans channel of love.
The love channel.
The love channel, pork and beans. Everybody loves pork and beans.
Hey, we're already getting comments. You guys didn't do a show yesterday. Yeah, she's right. We didn't.
Because I'm an idiot. Yeah.
It was a good observation, though.
Definitely, when we get I want to have the Chief Golden Light Eagle on the show, but it's going to take 2 of us, and we need to have some, because this guy commands respect. He's been in. There's Tony. He's been in this game for a long time. Hey, Tony. Look at you. You're in a car. That's pretty cool. Can't hear you yet. Yeah, you don't have your mic. You don't have your ed. You don't have your sound on. No sound. No sound. Okay, so we got
I got my mouse going right up your nostril.
oh cool.
I'm picking your nose. I'm picking your nose for you.
Do you he's got his mic. I can see his mic
Okay,
now.
well, I asked to unmute. So.
Turn his mic and just make sure we do a mic check and tell him we're gonna
Here we go.
Hey.
How you doing?
Am I on there?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, all right. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're going to be kicking it off here in 20, 30 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
Might kick it off sooner. We're still doing all that. I just sent out links to like 25 or so groups. That's where we get it. And it's the sooner I put out the links, then it gives a lag time for people to pick up on the show. So
Okay. So what, you want me to just hold off and wait on y'all, or stay here?
do whatever you want. We might take you off for just a little bit for the formal, which we don't have even we fail at the formal introduction, but yeah, just hang out and we might mute you because see, there's like two different things going here. There's the Facebook, which we're running now live, and then
Right.
later on it gets translated and edited and put over onto YouTube.
Facebook? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's fine. I'll just hang tight. I'll go get me a cup of coffee and I'll be back.
bingo.
I'm in my office in my truck.
I see that. Yeah. And Walmart.
In Walmart.
I'm actually out camping.
Oh, good. And you got good connection.
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to go over there. So you got the woods in behind me for a background.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Live action show. All right.
Well, I don't know if there's any live action. I didn't have anything happen last night. But I've had some
You
interesting
can have
things.
some birds and bugs. That's close enough.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay, what else we got to do? What kind of opening are we going to do today? We're going to
Couldn't understand what you guys were saying for a couple minutes, or
because you don't have your headphones on.
no, because you were talking some language I didn't understand.
That's star language.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got us on the speaker view. Put it on the groupie group. Put it on groupie group so everybody can see us doing our thing.
There we go.
All right, cool.
Hey, Sue says we're all pretty good volume wise.
Oh, cool.
So I guess we'll get
hi, Lynn Thompson, and hi, Brian. Oh wait, Brian's right next to me. So we have one guest. It's going to be a lot. That's pretty cool, and 3 comments.
Yeah, I didn't sleep a wink last night. I don't know.
I didn't sleep a wink last night. Wasn't there a song about that?
Yeah, by Frank Sinatra.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Give a few bars.
No, man, I'm too tired.
You're never too tired for Sinatra. Mr. Sinatra. So what do we got? We got a mailbag today. We don't have anybody to ask questions on the mailbag.
Well, we still get mail. I guess we could, but we haven't really started the show yet. Or do you want to do
I'm just asking you about our formal introduction, fancy dancy opening.
Well, we could do a mailbag.
or are we going to do the SASQUATCH? SASQUATCH.
Yeah, I like the SASQUATCH. The SASQUATCH quotes.
Oh,
Are y'all seeing me here?
yeah, you're looking good.
I got the woods back there in the
Well,
background.
he's not looking as good as you. You're the world's handsomest man.
Well,
But he's looking pretty good.
I'm looking kind of pale because my.
I haven't had a shower, so I'm on a 2-day no shower deal here.
What you say? Oh, today I thought it was supposed to only be once a month. I'm behind the game.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So Tony, where you at? Where you at, man? I mean, what part of the?
Forestry.
Huh?
I'm in Clark Forestry,
What state are you in?
Indiana.
All right, Indiana, live from Indiana. Tony Maples. How cool is that?
There you go.
The celebrity of the day. We're going to have as many as 5 to 7 people watching, and then at the end, it'll probably be more.
He's joking. Well, more than that, I think. Pat McRae. Oh, we got a comment from Pat McRae. Tony, you stink.
He didn't say that. He just said Tony.
Oh no, he said, Tony, you stink.
Well, I'm sure he's got the same flavor I do. Tell him, hey, hi, Pat.
Hey, that's pretty good, man. The show hasn't even started yet, and our guest is getting trashed.
Yeah, we're on track for chaos and
Is
humor.
that what the show's all about?
Yeah, it's about having fun. If you tell your stories, we'll have fun, and we make jokes. You can make fun of us.
Yeah,
we're supposed to do this segment called a mailbag, where we get the people to ask questions that'll embarrass me, and make Brian look good. So
yeah,
you know what?
Well,
let's do a
mailbag.
mailbag.
To embarrass me because I'm the world's handsomest man.
Oh, there you go.
See what I got here. You want to do a mailbag? Let's do a mailbag.
Hey, Carol. In the truck in the side door.
Coastal Chick was awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, Coastal Chick was just mind blowing. I mean, she was such a sleeper. Seems like just such a sweet lady, and then all of a sudden she just starts revealing all these wonderful, powerful, deep experiences. I was touched. I was like, wow.
You've been touched for a long time.
I've been touched. That's why I'm delusional.
As soon as I seen you, I said, this guy's touched.
Yeah. I often touch myself.
Oh, that's another show. That's another show.
Yeah.
That's after hours.
There you go.
I'm touching. I am so touching to me.
Well, I didn't
see. I'm everything I hope for. I'm everything I dream. I am so touching to me.
I'm unorganized here today. I can't find anything.
What are you doing, man? You're like a pack rat looking around, looking around for stuff. You're supposed to be on the show, man, and be organized and on the ball. We started a half hour early, which was fantastic.
The show hasn't really started yet.
The first time in the history of Pork and Beans that we started early.
A few years, please.
Well, wait a minute. Is this the official show? Have we started? No.
No?
I don't think so. We're supposed to start at 9, aren't we? This is the official. This is the official pregame.
This is the pre-show. The pre-show. Behind the scenes preview.
The preview of the pre-show. This is the pre-show.
Yeah.
Because we never start on time, so the first half hour of the real show is the pre-show.
Hey Pat, invite a few people. Same thing with Lynn. Send some like share a little bit.
We should bring
Warm
Pat
up.
on.
That's right. That's right. Lynn Thompson. That's a little warm up with a warm up for the throw up. It's going to be later.
You know what though? We could do a Sasquatch for the pre-show.
Well, you only got 15 minutes. Go ahead and just do the whatever you want, man.
Grab my lighter, please, Carol.
Okay, Tony,
Yeah.
pick a number between 40 and 100, and I'll read a quote from this book.
A book on
52.
Sasquatch. 52.
What do you say? 52.
40. Yeah.
Do you remember who
40.
was it? Remember I asked Kevin, and he said 30 or something. I said pick a number between 40 and 100, and he said like 30.
Yeah, it was kind of strange you asking to say 40 to 100.
Yeah.
Those are the pages in the book that has the quotes.
52.
Oh, okay.
52.
Yeah, I said 52, I think. Even if he didn't say 52, nobody'd know the difference.
Yeah, 52 was the number.
Oh, well, this is good because oh, by the way, this book by Graham McSkimming, he sent me a copy.
Did he autograph it?
Basically, what it is quotes from Sasquatch. So on page 52, we got a little short one here. It says, "Let things be as they are. Do not try to tell the future." Darnass of the Tatanta.
You know, that's kind of strange that come out of there because I got to start with someone telling my future.
No kidding.
Yeah, kind of strange.
Oh, and then they said something. That's cool. Go ahead, tell that story.
Well, I met this woman. She was an Indian, and she described to me. Basically, I wrote a name down on a piece of paper, and she held it in her hands, and she just rubbed it. And she started telling me about she told me my nephew's name before he was even born. She told me how many kids I was going to have. And she told me about Chief Tall Oak. Now, I'm assuming that's what the Bigfoot that I saw, I'm assuming that was his name, Chief Tall Oak. But she told me I would see him and I would be stunned. And well, she also told me I'd be rich, so I don't know what type of rich she was talking about. Maybe it was rich with friends, because it sure ain't money. But you know, she told me quite a bit of stuff, and all of it's come true. And that was pretty exciting for me. I never really believed in getting any type of reading. Yeah, but when she nailed it on how many kids I was going to have, and she told me that I would have a surgery in my middle to later years, in which I did have. But the thing that really stuck with me was her telling me that I would meet Chief Tall Oak, and that he was my guardian spirit, and he was watching over me. Now, the strange, I don't know if y'all want me to start from way back in the beginning or to my sighting.
Well, that's pretty good. The Chief Tall Oak. Why don't you just stay with that? Because do you feel like you've actually met Chief Tall Oak? Is he a?
I'm sure of it.
Is he?
Well,
He's
the
like a
thing about-
Sasquatch that you just get that same kind of a vibe or something.
Yes. Yes.
I totally think that's a great story. Just right there, you can almost stop right there and just talk about how profound it is to have that kind of a connection that goes now. How many years ago was it when you had the prophecy?
Almost 30 years.
So a 30-year prophecy, and then you meet the man. You meet the
Well, 30 years ago is when I actually got to see him. But you got to remember, I was 18 years old, 18 or 19 when this woman told me this. Now,
that's mind blowing.
yeah. So we're talking. It took a few years before I even got to that point to where that happened to me. But the sad thing is well, I believe myself. I believe they're in tune with your feelings and stuff. And the strange thing is my grandmother died, and I was pretty tore up about it. And of course, I sat back in the woods behind my house a lot of times by myself just to get my mind clear. And let me jump back a little bit. Where I lived at was on a dead end road, and getting smoked out here. I lived on a dead end road, and woods on both sides of me and behind me. And we had apple trees and all kinds of other stuff. I think Greg Yost is here. I think my buddy Greg Yost is here. I'm not sure.
Oh man, he's one of my buddies too.
Yep, it's old Greg.
Well, this is going to be a great show.
There you go. Greg's here. But when it started, well, we had quite a few fruit trees. My dog's barking in the background. He's got to get to know Greg real quick. Give me a second. Hey, Greg. I'm doing the pork and beans show. Hey, buddy. Doing the pork and beans show. You want to join me? Join me? I'm on doing the pork and beans show. You sure? You know Brian Bland and
Mike Carroll.
Get him to say hi.
Come on over and say hi. He's camera shy this morning.
Hey,
There you go. There he is.
how you doing, brother?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, really good.
I don't think it's going to tip over. Yeah, will you shut him up, please? Put him in the truck. Put him in the truck.
Hey, Mr. Beans, this guy's got a better beard than you. Look at him.
He's a manly man. Yeah, I know both of them are manly men. I don't know what happened to me.
You got like a
I got a little girly girl thing going on here.
get the discount version or something.
Yeah, he's a discount version. I ain't got as long a beard as you all do. So I must be the discount.
Well, I'm actually thinking of letting this part just go. Not even trimming it.
This is 8 years worth.
Hey, I got a funny story about Greg. As I invited him on to do an interview with me. This is going back, I think, a couple of years ago. And
Yeah, thanks. I was interested.
we're all set up to do it, and then a damn tree fell on his house. And, I can't do it now. And I thought, oh God, that's a bad sign when a tree fall on your house. And we never did do our show, so now it's like I'm happy to see, because I'm a fan of yours. Both you guys got a real good connection to the Sasquatch, and people need to know that there's a good connection out there. There's a good, solid friendship, mentor, teacher sometimes, and just sometimes just buddies. So I'm glad both you guys are on here, at least for now.
That kind of makes it interesting, don't it?
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna jump back and start telling you about. Well, we had a lot of fruit trees in our yard, and grapes and stuff like that. And I used to have to pick the apples up so I could mow, because if I didn't, I'd shoot them all over the house, all kinds of stuff. So, but I come home one day and all the apples were gone off the ground. And I asked my wife, I said, well, did you pick up all them apples? She said, no. But I got to this, I had these grapes behind my house, and And I went back there to pick some grapes one day, and I found this big bald spot where something had sit there and just ate every one of my grapes. Ate them all, right off the vine. Now, this is before I had my sighting. And I couldn't make hide in her hair of what happened. I just figured somebody just come and took them all. But the strange thing is, I hunted these woods back there behind my house. And down in this valley, there was a pond that I come across. And I walked down to the pond, and there was only one little opening, and this pond was surrounded by sticker bushes. And I looked down in the pond at the foot of the pond, and there's a footprint probably maybe 7 inches long, a bare footprint, you know. And I'm wondering to myself, you know, what's kids doing out here in a sticker bush area trying to get in this pond barefoot? And I didn't put no, you know, I didn't tie it together till all the stuff started happening. Well, my kids, they played at the end of the street where there was a basketball goal. They come home scared to death one day telling me they heard something back in the woods and it roared and sounded like Chewbacca. And I just played it off. I said, well, you know, you probably heard a deer or something, you know, because we got a lot of deer that run through there. But they were totally petrified, and they didn't want to go back and play basketball. But the really awkward thing is me and my wife sitting there in the living room. My chair set like 3 feet from the door because I like to look outside the door. We lived in this old trailer, and the door swung outward. And well, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this very large, at least 9 foot tall, walked across my door and turned his head, his shoulders, and looked at me like this. Right dead in my eyes, and I felt like he was looking right into my soul.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and well, my wife said, get up and shut the door. I said, you know, I used a few choice words I'm not going to use here. And I said, hell no, you know, I'm not getting up, let him get on down the road. Because, you know, you got to remember, I never seen one before till this time. And, well, I judged his height by the door because it had 3 foot went down from the steps to my walkway and 6'5" doorway. And his head was right there, eye level of the top of the door. I mean, I could see his face and everything. It totally shocked me. Now, you know, I watched all that Roger Patterson stuff, and I, you know, had an incline about, you know, what they were. And I believe that Roger Patterson film, of course. And, well, long story short, he looked dead up like Patty, but it was a male. You could tell it was a male. He was humongous, broad shoulders. His nose was kind of shaped like a Santa Claus on a Coca-Cola can. And I didn't, you know, I've seen his eyeballs and everything. His eyeballs were black as coal. And this is almost getting close to dark. But like I was trying to explain to you, my grandmother died. And this is how this connection started. I think they watched me crying in the woods about my grandma. And to get my mind off my grandma, I think that's why I had the vision. But like I told you, I was told that I was going to see him. And may have took many, many years, but obviously seen him. So, and I kind of put the two together years later. That was actually Chief Tall Oak. And the strange, you know, as time rolls on, I mean, I'm having my wife tell me she sees eyeballs in the windows, and this window is 15 feet off the ground because we kind of lived on a hillside. The trailer, you know, was ground level, and in the back it kind of went down into the hill. she would tell me all the time she'd see eyeballs in the window. And, you know, I'd always brush it off until we seen that. And, you know, obviously anybody's first impression is you're going to be scared. So I didn't go outside of my house in the dark without a flashlight and a gun. That's how scared I was of that. But, you know, all the things that have happened to me over the years, I got to realizing in all the study I did that, you know, they're not out to hurt you. I'm sure they could if they wanted to, but you'd probably have to do something pretty much out of line to get that to happen. Now, I'm out here actually at Greg Yost's camp. Well, I'm not on his spot, but I'm on another spot. And we've had some strange things happen here. And, you know, I'm sure he can tell you he's had we've seen a lot of eye shine out here. Actually, at one time, there's a swing right over here. There's actually somebody swinging on it right now. I don't know if you can see it back there. But when we first come here to Greg's first camp out, we set up and I was looking through a channel of trees and I looked over and I seen that swinging back and forth. And then I seen that black figure standing by that tree with his hand on a tree. And I said, come here to check this out. And as soon as she got over and she started looking, it turned and looked at her and seen us and slowly backed off into the woods. Now, me and Greg, we all walked over there and we found a large footprint. You remember that, Greg? Remember that? Yeah. Well, we found a large footprint over there and it was probably 15 inches. So, but I've had a lot of things happen. Now, in the woods that I hunt, where I deer hunt. Now, this is in another county, and I will tell you, I believe that they follow you because I moved 20 miles away from that place that I lived. That I had my first sighting, and a lot of strange stuff started happening around my house there. Across the street, we had woods, and I always felt like something was watching me over there, which they were. But I happened to go back there, and I found a lot of tree breaks. And I actually I found a spot where they were using tools, which is strange. They were breaking walnuts with a rock on top of a rock. And I mean, we're talking about a 3-foot area back in the woods nobody goes to, 3-foot area around with this rock dead center with another rock black as heck where they had been breaking open the nutshell. Well, I decided somebody gave me this bright idea to leave a pad of paper and a note back there with a pencil. And I did that. And when I got back there, the pad of paper was gone. I put it on the stump. The pencil was still there, but the pad of paper was gone. But where the pad of paper was, there was a bone laying there. And it was shaped like a knife. Almost like a straight knife. And it was real sharp. Well, I took that bone home and I brought it back and it wound up disappearing. I guess I probably should have kept it because I think they were giving it to me. But I took it back to the same spot and left it in that spot and it disappeared. So I no longer had that anymore. And, well, back in that area, I did find a spot where they bed down. And I mean, it had the skunkiest smell. And you could tell at least 4 or 5 of them had been back there. And I took my grandson back there that day, and we were looking, and I got him into Bigfoot. And I told him, I said, you know, we're going to go back there and look for evidence. Well, we're walking through this little path, and I find this broken tree. And he says, watch out, Papaw, you're about ready to step on a print. He said, there's a print right there. And I mean, you could see the detail of the whole foot because it had just rained probably 2 days before. So it had been there 2 days before. And that print was plain as day. And now my grandkids, they'd all the time, where I live at, I'm at the back end of Old Bannon Forestry. And, well, my grandkids all the time would tell me they would see one up there on the hillside. And I took photographs, and you could see the black spots up there. And you know how pareidolia is, everybody's going to say it's pareidolia. But you could see them there, and they would sit up there in the evenings, I reckon, just because the breeze blows through there real nice and calm. And I imagine they were cooling off back there, or up there on top of the hill. But now I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the story of where my mom, she lives she used to live about maybe a 3/4 of a block down the road from me up on the tallest mountain around the area. So she built her a place up there to, a garage and all that. But well, I got to where I started doing some research back in that area. She only owned 12 acres, but I had the permission to go on the other side of the property into somebody else's property. And well, I did all that and went on this property, and I found all these breaks and a lot of footprints. And I happened to find a mound, and it was a very large mound, probably I would say at least 20 feet long, but I guess maybe 15 foot at the most. But it had like ferns planted around it, made a complete circle like ferns. So I took that as an Indian burial site. Well, I got to looking further on my mother's property. There was another one like that, except for it had trees, like birch trees, around it. I don't know what the birch trees symbolize, but it had that around it. But, well, I used to always sit out by the garage, and we had a fire pit out there, and I'd all the time have a fire, and I'd be sitting out there, and I'd be hearing rocks coming down the hill at me. And you could hear them hitting the ground. Now, we didn't have no nut trees up there close to where my mom was, and they were all back and back. But I was getting bombarded by acorns. They were throwing acorns at me. And I think they were just having fun with me is what they was doing. But we had this pan that we used to feed the dogs. And we had a big, large storm come up, and it blowed this pan down over the hill in front of my mom's house. Well, it blowed it into a bunch of briars and stuff. So I never went down there to get it. Well, their thing that they done with me was to let me know they was there. They would hit on this pan. And one day they kept hitting it continuously, like they were drawing my attention to them. So I walk over to the area where the pan's at to see if I can see what's going on. And lo and behold, behind me, there's a garage with a metal roof. They throwed a bunch of gravel up on top of the roof of the garage. It scared the heck out of me. But I imagine they were sitting back laughing, I think they enjoyed startling me.
Yeah.
So I think that was the fun that they had with me. And, I would hear all them whoops and calls and stuff like that. And I enjoyed being in that spot. It was, it kind of set my mind free. And I always knew when they showed up, they let me know about hitting that pan. And, there's nothing over there. There wasn't no bird doing this. I mean, why would a bird do it at nighttime? It'd do it in the daytime and at night. And well, I knew it wasn't my family members because my mom, I could see from where the fire pit was, I could see the living room. My mother and my wife sitting there, and my stepdad, he was really sick, and he was all the time in the bed. He never got out of the bed, and nobody was there but me when all this happened. Me and of course, them, and they were on the house. Uh, so I knew what was going on. But I'm going to jump into another part, and this happened about 3 years ago. Now, everybody says they have, a lot of accounts all the time, and I can believe some of them, but really, I don't think that the Sasquatch people want to be around us that much. I think at times they tend to be curious, but in this spot, I've got permission to hunt on 350 acres to deer hunt. And I went with a buddy of mine, and we had this big deer blind on stilts. And it was a real good hunting spot. Well, I'd see all the signs. You could see all the signs going up to it. And you could see where they didn't like us taking four-wheelers back there. And they would push trees over on the trail to try to keep us from bringing four-wheelers back there, or to either slow us down so they could hide better. I don't know. But, well, me and him sitting up in this deer blind, and all of a sudden we started hearing all that screaming and hollering. And, well, we see tree branches moving. And he looks over and says, what do you think that is? I said, I think it's a Sasquatch. Well, we never seen it, but I started snapping pictures. Now, I'm going to get into some a lot of taboo stuff here. People don't, you got some that believe and some that don't. I got a picture of one, and you can see his leg coming out from a tree and his arm and part of his head. And I've had people tell me, well, he's in mid-cloak, But I started snapping pictures when this happened because I had my phone. We was trying to get pictures of deer if something come through too, We had a lot of turkeys there. Was he leaving? Okay. Well, we see all these tree branches move, but we don't see it. And it hollers, it must have noticed it, knew that we was there. But it hollered and screamed and went all the way down the hill. And you could see tree branches moving, but you couldn't see what was there moving it. That was the strange part.
Yeah, people actually need to know that, instead of just denying the spiritual side, they need to at least start making a list of all the people who've had those paranormal, supernatural kind of events. It's part of the game, and they got to hear it. That's why we started this whole show. So, there's no question Sasquatch is very real and physical, but it's got this other thing going on.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain, but yes, I've had several encounters like this. But the strange thing is, he's got a cabin over there, and we're allowed to go over there and camp in it. And it's a primitive cabin. Well, me and my wife's there, and we're camping, and well, the truck was parked in the back of the cabin, and in the front of the cabin was a lake. Well, she goes to the truck and then comes running back and said, and I'm not trying to, she said it was a black man she seen. She said she's seen a tall black man back there. Now I want you to know there ain't a black person that lives in this town for probably 50 miles. I mean, this is a very small town. Well, she described it as a black man, and she was pretty scared and tore up about it. But we're sitting there. This is later on in the evening. Of course, I told her what I thought it was, and she knew we was going there to have an experience. And that's another thing. You don't always have experiences. It's kind of on their terms. Just like me coming here and camping here last night, nothing ever happened. You know, I don't want to tell somebody that something's happening that ain't. But well, we're sitting there, and across the lake, we look on this. It's kind of like a flood wall. We start seeing this tree moving, and I started snapping pictures. I started zooming in and snapping pictures, and the images that I got back were Sasquatch. And I got pictures of it moving in 3 frames. And you know, I really didn't see this until I started looking at my photos. But you could see the mother with a baby in her arms sitting up on the hill. And the pictures after that, well, I got to tell you, when she turned her head in the picture that I got of her turning her head, we heard the large alpha male scream. And then all these coyotes started going off. She was looking in a direction, the picture that I got, she was looking in a direction of where that alpha male screamed. But in the pictures I've got, matter of fact, I've got them pictures in my truck. I'd almost get those out, and I probably will here in a little bit and show you if people can see them. I don't know if they can or not. But the thing about it is I've got her sitting on the bank, and she's got the young sitting in her lap. And then I think she realized I was taking photos, and she covered the baby up and kind of covered, you know, with her head and her arm, covered the baby up. But I've got 3 shots that show her moving. Plus, it's got a bird, one of them fisher birds in it, that's in the lake right directly in front of her. And, you know, that right there alone, I think is pretty good evidence. You know, when you've got 3 pictures back to back and you get that, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be glad to show everybody, you know, I'm not afraid to show them, but, you know, I had one guy send the picture to somebody else, and the guy wouldn't come out and say it was a Bigfoot. But he let the guy that I shared the photo with, told him, he said, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's something there, you know? And I guess the guy didn't want to come out and say it was a Bigfoot because, you know, I guess what people would say. So, but I'm going to jump back and try to tell you another story that happened to me. And actually, these 2 stories kind of go together with this cloaking. I'm out hunting in my deer blind. I get there in the woods, and I always got there at least 2 hours before daylight so that I could sit in this blind and, you know, kind of blend in with everything. Get quiet, get settled down. Well, I start hearing these rock knocks, and it goes, you know, and I'm thinking antlers, and I get to listening to it, and it's rock knocks. It's actual rocks being knocked together, and it was only 30 yards away from me. So I'm looking in this area, and it's just now getting daylight, and I see this burnt orange bush like, real huge. And this is where the sound's coming from. I'm thinking something's behind this bush. And I mean, it was red as I don't know how to explain it. It was like a fall color, like, you know, leaves would get. But, you know, I never seen a deer that day, but I walked down and I had to walk past this bush. And when I walked past this bush, I'm 15 feet from it. So at the end of the day, I'm sitting there and I never seen any deer or anything. So I left and I look, and this tree's only got 7 leaves on it. I mean, it's fall. And where this spot was that I seen this, it was no longer there. So I'm thinking somehow it absorbed that color from them leaves that was on it. I mean, there wasn't hardly any leaves on this tree at all. and it wasn't as big as what I saw when I looked at the blind. You know, uh, so I believe they can take on colors somehow, take on the colors of anything they want to take on, which is strange, but you know, that's how I'm going to describe it. I think they're, you know, I've heard people say their follicles are kind of like glass, and they absorb whatever colors are in their area. You know, that's how they blend in. I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit there and tell you scientifically that that's a fact, but I've been told that. And, you know, I've been doing this for a lot of years, 30 years, and you know, I've done a lot of research in the woods. I don't go out in the woods as much as I used to anymore, but I will tell you another story at the same spot. I'm walking down the trail, and I was trying to refurbish my deer blind because I made it out of pallets, and I had to put another roof on it. Well, I'm walking back here, and it's early in the morning, and I see this cloud of, you know, almost like dew coming off the ground on the trail, right in front of me, right before this deer blind. And I'm walking, and I mean, it almost looked like dew coming off a surface, you know, from moisture, but it had all these little silvery things flying around in it. And the sun's in the background now, and I'm thinking the sun is you know, shining on this moisture in this. And I mean, this thing is, I would say at least 7 to 8 feet tall and huge. And it was just like that, like I'm trying to explain to you. The whole thing was just like steam rolling off of something with sparkly things in it flying around. Well, I just kept going. That's what I thought it was just dew coming off the ground and the sunlight just reflecting it. Well, I walked through it and instantaneously I got sick. I mean, I felt like something had drained all the energy out of me. I mean, my stomach, I felt like I wanted to puke. I even sat down for a few minutes and you know, obviously, I felt like I was going to die. I mean, that's how sick I got when I walked through there. And I was probably sick for about, I would say at least an hour and a half. And I felt that way for an hour and a half. And I made my way back home that day, and I made it to the spot where I sit down and have my bonfires, and I sat there for a little while just to gather my senses. And I'm gonna tell you my exact thoughts was, I did not want to die back there in the woods, you know, and my mother and them not know where I'm at, you know. And it felt like I was gonna die, and I still to this day, that had to have been, you know, seeing what I've seen them as many times as I've seen them. That was a crucial point that let me know that there's some form of energy that they got, you know, and they could put that on you. They put it on me, and you know, I've had people tell me I got zapped, but you know, I walked through it. So I've had people tell me, well, you walked through a Bigfoot in cloaking during his cloak. You know, I've heard all different kind of explanations. I've even been told I'm crazy. You know, whatever. I know what I felt, and
I don't think you're crazy. It's just something else you got to put on the list of what's going on with Sasquatch.
right. Well, you know, I could care less if people do think I'm crazy. I mean, I'll admit to a little bit of craziness. Everybody's got it, but you know, well, this is on the same property. I'm going to tell you another story. On my mother's property, you got to take a four-wheeler or four-wheel drive to get down to the bottoms where this creek is. And I like to fish this one particular spot because it's a deep end, and well, it also dead ends into a big cliff wall. And you know, I always thought about climbing that wall and seeing what's up there, but never did. It's pretty steep. I'd be afraid I'd hurt myself doing it. But we drive down there. Me and my wife, we drive down there, and I set up my little fire pit. We cooked hamburgers. We was gonna cook hamburgers and do a little fishing. We get down there, and I get the hamburgers on the grill, and I'm almost done cooking them. And well, I hear this whoop across the creek, and then I hear another whoop on the side we're on behind us, probably 30, 40 yards. And then I hear another whoop directly behind us. And I'm not thinking anything. You know, my wife says, well, "What is that?" I said, "Well, I think we got SASQUATCH around us." And she said, "Well, I want to go. I'm scared. I want to go." Because, I mean, these whoops kept continuing. And I said, "Well, I'm going to finish, you know, grilling these burgers." And I said, "I'm going to eat my burger before I leave." And well, about that time, she said, "I'm ready to go." One of them pushed a tree down towards us, pushed a tree over towards us. And I mean, this thing comes crashing down a hill, and it's probably 20 yards from us where it lands. And I mean, this is a huge tree. And I you know, I'm kind of freaking myself out, you know. I'm thinking, well, they don't want us here. And I, you know, okay, I'm gonna admit to this. I talked to them in the woods, okay? And I told them right there at that point, I said, "I'm just gonna eat my burgers and we're gonna go." I said, "I know you don't want us back here." Well, after thinking about it, when we drove down through there, they were literally trying to cross the creek. And we got right in the middle of the two on my side and the one on the other side of the creek. So we separated them. So that was the offense that we did. You know, after thinking about it, we violated their space. You know, they wanted to cross, and we stopped them just by driving down there. So, well, you might have to chain him up, huh? Well, but you know, that was kind of a strange event there, and I snapped some pictures. I did send some pictures to a couple people, and in one of the pictures where that was, somebody pointed out to me that one was standing there and it had his arm and his leg out, and you could see his head. And I don't have them pictures anymore because that was an old phone I had. I had one of them flip phones. It looked like a typewriter type, you know, with a video image on it. You know, you could type with it. And but that phone wound up for some reason just dying on me, and I've still got the phone. I'm going to try to get some pictures off of it, but I've got pictures of, you know, what people say they've seen in the background. I sent some to some people. I think I sent a few of them to Brenda Holland, and I don't know if you know her, but she's a good friend of mine. I shared a lot with her. But,
with who?
Excuse
with
me?
who? I didn't catch who you said. Who?
I shared a lot of my stuff with a good friend of mine, Brenda Holland.
Oh, right. I've heard of her. Yeah.
She's a real good friend of mine. And
so you've been.
I mean, I've just go ahead.
You've been at this for 30 years. So how many years in was it before you realized that? Wait a minute. I guess when you were first involved, you thought they were just flesh and blood animals, right? Or did you?
Yes.
Or did you always know?
I didn't know about the spiritual part. I'm going to tell you how long I've been in this. Back when they started the computer stuff, I was virtually in chat rooms back then. We only had chat rooms. Yeah. We didn't have, you know, like we got Facebook now. And I got on all them websites. They had one website out there. It was BFRO, I believe, Bigfoot Research Organization, and they had a sightings list from all the sightings in areas. I'd get on there a lot that's where I got a lot of my info from, was from that and being in like chats. But I didn't really start doing any. I've always been in the woods. I've hunted all my life. I've seen a lot of strange things in the woods, structures and stuff before I ever knew that was the Sasquatch people doing that. I literally wasn't aware of that till probably 6 or 7 years into it, when other people started talking about it. And then I really started going out and I started hitting the woods hard. When I'd go hunting, I'd use that for a Bigfoot excuse too, go hunting, which was a good one. Like I said, I walked up on that pond and found that footprint. That was the young playing in that pond. And now thinking back now, I put it all together now. And the guy wouldn't let me hunt deer back in there. He didn't want me hunting deer for some reason. And he wouldn't tell me why, but I think the deer was the Sasquatch food. He didn't want me to kill Sasquatch food. He said I could squirrel hunt back there, but he didn't want me deer hunting. That's kind of strange to me. And it took a long time for me to get permission to go back there too, because I talked to that guy for several years trying to get permission. He said, I'll let you hunt back there. I like you. I think you're an all right guy. And I'll let you squirrel hunt back there. He said, just don't shoot my deer. And I said, sure. And back in there's a lot of structures. I seen one of the biggest deer, oldest deers I've ever seen in my life back in there. And a lot of trails, a lot of stuff for them to eat, crab apples, you name it, there's stuff back there for them. And actually, where my house was back then, it was actually an animal highway for them to get around the expressway. It was in behind us, around a mile or two away. So it was like a breezeway for all the animals, deers. And I figure, Sasquatch took that way. That's why they come out there, and it was kind of like their highway, And I'm just going to say we had so many things happen when I lived there in that spot. When I lived in that trailer and had my sighting, I would have family members come over, and I wouldn't talk about Bigfoot. I was scared to even talk about it. I'd only get on the website. I didn't want to go around telling people, hey, I've seen this, and people thinking I'm crazy, So I didn't tell anybody about, all the stuff that was going on. But I had my nephew come over one time, and he said, I pulled in the driveway, and I thought you was standing by your van, but you was on the other side, on the passenger side. I said, when I pulled in and got out, I said, hey, what are you doing? It took off running back in the woods. He said, whoever it was took off running back in the woods. And he said it was real tall. Now, this is my nephew telling this, and I'm still, matter of fact, that happened before I had the sighting. Him telling me that. And he was pretty scared. And my other nephew, he wouldn't come over my house after dark. He was that scared. And I kind of understood it because I was scared too.
So Tony, we got a question. We got a question from Cindy Lart. She says, "Have you ever?" She has a question from the audience. She says, "Have you ever mind spoke to or communicated vocally with the Sasquatch?"
Well, that's another story I can tell you. I don't know if you want to consider it mind speak, and this is strange, and I really, I'm in that deer blind I was telling you about, and I'm by myself. And I look over, and I see like a gray image patch in the woods, and it's sitting there on the side of this embankment. And I got my 243 with a scope on it, and I pick up the scope, and I look, and it's a gray Sasquatch, an older gray Sasquatch. I mean, it was gray. It had white in its beard like we do. Of course, I could tell it was older. And about that time, I haven't seen any deer yet, and something in my mind says, look behind you. The deer are behind you. So I do, and there's deer back there. Well, I've done shot a deer already in this area that year. So I take a shot. I'm sorry if I'm talking about killing animals. If people are upset, I don't kill for trophies. I kill just to put meat on the table. But I shot this deer, and it took off running, and it went down the hillside and started going up the other hillside. And I hear this whoop, and then it takes off going the other direction, and another whoop. So it sends it packing straight up the hill. Whatever, it was Bigfoot, the hairy ones back there. But I shot this deer pretty good. It bled for a long time, and I'm sorry I'm telling you this, but I've been deer hunting a long time, and I got the kill shot. It just didn't put it down. It had its adrenaline flowing, but it took off, and it went up over the hill, and I seen it. So I wait 20 minutes, and I start tracking the blood spots. Because once you move from the deer blind, you can no longer actually tell where you actually shot the deer, where it was going, until you start looking for your blood trail. And I found my blood trail, and it was, we're talking blood everywhere. And I keep walking, and I come to this area, and it looks like a bunch of trees knocked down, kind of making a V into an area. Well, the deer stopped directly in front of that. The blood stopped. There was no deer there. The blood literally stopped. So I took this as one of their hunting grounds, and where they would chase the deer into, force the deer to get shocked because they had nowhere to go. That's how these trees were. They were set up. A deer can jump a 10-foot tall fence. I've seen it happen. I used to hunt by Army ammunition plant, and but these limbs were, all these trees that were broken over were all right roughly about 5 feet off the ground, and a lot of sticks stuck in them and stuff like that, which made it, which in my mind let me know that that's where they ran them into and snatched them up. Whatever they do, swat at them, break their legs. I don't know. I've heard stories that that's how they do it. But that was strange. Did somebody leave?
No, I'm still here. I'm just gonna go do some little something.
Oh, okay. Well, because the screen went black.
Hey, Brian, could you put it back onto speaker view?
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. We're gonna give you the show there, Tony.
See what now?
We're gonna put you on the main screen, so it's not a group shot anymore.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So go ahead.
Well, me and my buddy, I went back and got my buddy and said, well, I shot this deer. It's disappeared on me. I don't know where it went. I said, but I know it's got to be dead because I can't find it. Well, me and him go up there and we look within a 100-yard radius. Now this deer should have been in that area, and it never was. So I'm assuming that they took my deer and put it over their shoulder, and that's how it bled out. So, that's the only thing I can think. And but they obviously took my deer. I guess they figured I done got one, so I owed them a gift. And I always took whenever I'd clean a deer, gut a deer, I'd always leave the heart and liver separate from the intestines for them, because I felt like I was giving back to nature that way.
Yep.
So,
but you've been at
it.
You've been at it for like 30 years or whatever. What was your first big incident where you said, "Wait a minute, these guys are more than what I think"? Like,
Well, my biggest, I would have to say, when I walked through what I walked through, and obviously the one that walked across my door, and that was the most scariest time of my life too. I got to admit. I mean, because that right then and there let me know that there's something in them woods, you know, and there was no way that was a costume. If it was a costume, somebody was 9 foot tall, and yeah, well, you know, my wife, she claimed it was a spirit, but I seen the whole image.
Yeah.
And you know,
I don't know. I wouldn't want to be
you
walking.
know,
I wouldn't want to be walking around in the woods with a costume too much, especially in a hunting area.
oh yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, they just had somebody get run over doing that. If I ain't correct, somebody got ran over, and then somebody else ran over it on the highway. But can y'all give me a moment? I need to take a pee break,
Absolutely. Go
and
for it.
I'll just sit. Y'all can look at the trees or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Well, I didn't do the introduction for the show. I guess that's the hazards of starting early. The pregame show, I forgot to announce the real show, but oh well. I'll go check some questions. I don't know if I saw your question about Tony showing the pictures. I can ask him. I'm not sure if he has screen share or not.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Do you have screen share? Do you know how to screen share?
Just a second. I think you've. Where'd you go?
Where did I go?
Yeah, I don't see you at all.
I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Well, hang on.
I think we lost the connection somewhere.
I can see me.
Can you see me?
No.
Huh. How do I get back to that?
No, I cannot see you.
Huh. I don't even see it on here. Maybe I need to go to, let me see here.
You got to start your video.
You know, I need to go to, I may need to re-enter into it somehow. Let me see.
I don't think so. You see where your little camera is?
Yeah.
Click on it. See if you can turn it on.
Okay. Am I there? Do you see me?
No.
Huh.
What happened?
I don't know what's going on. I've clicked on the camera. Huh.
Well, okay, hang on a second. Do you see a notice coming up to start video?
No. Let me, I don't know if I'm going to drop you or what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to go to where you added me and see if I can't join back again.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, there you are.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Can you see me now?
Absolutely.
All right.
So, have you ever met Arla Williams? You're friends with her,
Yes,
right?
I have. Yes, I have, and that's another story I can. And I'm pretty sure she can vouch for me. We come down here to one of Greg Yost's campouts. As a matter of fact, it was the same weekend I told you I seen the. Did I tell you all the story about the swing set?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was the same weekend. Me and Arla took a short trip in the woods, just looking around close to camp, see if we can find anything. And she started showing me all these little glyphs. And Arla's a great gal. I got to mention, she is one of my favorite people. She knows more about stuff than I can even, I couldn't even imagine all the stuff she knows about the Sasquatch people. But she was showing me little glyphs, and she was finding little things, and that she was keeping. But I had told my wife before we came, I said, well, I kind of want to shine my tires, and I forgot my tire shining at home. And it's strange. Well, me and Arla took that little trip in the woods, and directly behind my tent, lo and behold, nobody knew about this, and I told Arla about it, that there was a full bottle of tire shine right behind my tent, like they had left it there for me. I know that sounds absurd, but I mean,
No.
they read my mind. That was what I had planned to do, was to shine my rims and my tires, and that's what they left me.
Yes.
That's one of the greatest stories. It's a great story. I mean, that's, so squatchy. It's amazing.
Well, there was more stuff that happened. I mean, I had a bad toothache, so they stayed up and did some drumming and stuff. And I went back to sleep in my tent, and I could still hear them drumming and stuff. And I started hearing metal clang together. And I'm not thinking anything, and it was right directly behind my tent in the woods. Matter of fact, the woods that I'm talking about are right there. I don't know if you can see them. You can see back in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the back of my tent was facing that area. And I started hearing all this ting, ting, and they was doing it, and it was doing it kind of to the beat of what they were drumming and stuff. They had a bunch of instruments over there, rattlers and stuff. They were making some pretty good jam. It was really nice to listen to it. And Harley even sung a few songs, but like I said, it was making this like ting, ting to the beat of the drums. And I never paid no mind, but I got ready to leave, and I went to take my tent up, and I noticed I had 2 tent stakes missing in the backside of my tent where that sound was coming from. So they come and took couple of my tent stakes. I mean, why would anybody want to, mess with my tent stakes?
Just be funny.
And everybody was over there at the, drumming and stuff. Like I said, I had a bad toothache, so I was kind of laying down, and I could hear it all. And when I started hearing that, I was like, who in the world is banging with metal,
Yeah.
And like I said, kind of find out they took my tent stakes, and I never did get those back, but I wasn't too worried about it. But, you got. Go ahead.
They absolutely like that thing about the car wash or the car shine stuff. That's it doesn't sound crazy to me.
Well, you could ask Carla about that. She'll tell you, because I told her, I said, yeah, I was gonna.
No. They read your thoughts, your intents, and all that. I mean, it's happened. That kind of stuff has happened to a lot of people. Happened to me, not exactly like that, but the same phenomenon. So it's people can believe it if they want, or not believe it, but it's real.
Right. Well, I'm gonna jump back to the cabin, because this is a good little point. You talking about mind speak and stuff like that. Now, I felt like they said to me that they were going to visit me that night. Well, me and my wife, we was inside that cabin, and we started hearing them outside the cabin. And I mean, they were banging on the wall of the cabin. And I don't know if they were trying to scare us away. I don't think that was the case. but I felt like they told me that they was going to come see me that night, see us. And, that the whole entire day was filled with experiences. I mean, got the pictures of the one over there on the side of the pond. My wife seen the one behind the cabin, and then they beating on a cabin at night. My wife literally got so scared that she said, "I want to go." And my buddy had a house over there on the other side of the lake. She said, "I want to go to Terry's." She said, "I don't want to be in this cabin. It scared me." So I started, I didn't want her to be petrified, so I started packing up. And she looks out the door. She says, "You're brave." She said, "I wouldn't be out there packing up." She said, "Let's just go." I said, "No, I'm gonna take our blankets and stuff, everything we need to, stay up at my friend's house." I said, "And when I get it done," I said, "you can come out and I'll walk you out and get you in the truck." Well, I did all that. Well, we went back the next morning to get her stuff, and I get up to the porch before she does, and there's this big old footprint, like walking towards the door in the doorway, because we had rained the day before, and it, when you walked up on the porch, you kind of got a little dirt on the porch. But you could see where he stepped his big foot up there on the porch was going towards the door. And I took and hurried up and swept that off because, I wanted my wife to come back to that spot. I didn't want her to think they was coming to the door, because that'd be a definite no. She would never go back if she knew they was. Well, she knows now. I mean, I explained to her and everything, but that was pretty neat. I should have took a picture of it, but like I said, I hurried up and brushed it off the porch before she seen it, because it would have totally thrown her into hysteria, I'm for sure. And I didn't want to do that. But I know I'm jumping around, but I've had so much stuff happen that I forget things. And when you've been in it and doing it so long, a lot of things you do forget, and little memories come back to you about it.
I know. Yeah. I
And
forgot. Forgot a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, and the thing about it is you might have an experience, and you'll go back and you'll go over that experience in your head, and you'll realize something that you didn't realize when the experience happened.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of things. A lot of my experiences. Like when my grandmother died, and I seen that one walk across the door. I really think that they wanted me, and this is what that woman told me when she did that reading of me. She said I was going to sing, and she said he was tall, real tall, and that's the tallest thing I've seen. So it has to be him, Chief Tall. But the thing about it is, I think they understand feelings. I think they have somewhat the same feelings of us. They know sorrow. They know pain. They know fun stuff. They got a sense of humor about them. But I really think the reason that it revealed itself to me was because my grandmother died, and they knew I was heartbroken, and that literally took my mind off my grandmother. My grandmother's passing.
Absolutely.
I really think that was the real reason behind them showing me, unless they were thanking me, for my apples and all the grapes they ate, because they knew I wanted them grapes.
Mm-hmm.
The word for that is compassion. And there's not a whole lot of other animals out there. You can't call them animals when they have compassion for other beings.
Well,
We have compassion for dogs and stuff, but that's
I don't call them creatures or anything. I think they're the first humans.
Mm-hmm.
They're people. They're the first people.
Yes. I think they're actually the first humans. They've got a long list of understanding nature, and I believe the Indians learned from them. Just the Indian, I don't want to say the Indians were smarter than them and put to use their, they did. I do believe they took on their values as far as appreciating nature and,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Let me,
I wanted to clear that up. I don't think they're creatures. I don't think they're Neanderthals. I think they're actually the first humans.
yeah. Let me just really quickly give a collaborative story that speaks about their compassion and whatever. You know, it's when my mother passed away, my dad was on the phone telling me mom just died or whatever. And I said, well, I'm going to go, I have to get up to the woods and thank and, you know, and put my mind at ease. Well, whatever, you know, get out and
Yeah, I
in
understand
my
it totally.
peaceful
That's what
place or whatever. So you know, I just got off the phone with my father and I went out to my car right in the town, and there was a
Right.
beautiful glyph right beside my car door. It's absolutely beautiful glyph, and I knew exactly what it was there for.
Yeah, they left it for you.
Yeah, they left
Yeah.
it for me to show their support. And then the next day I went out again, and there was another one, and it was like an arrow pointing directly to where they live. You know, and you know, I know a little bit about cliffs. These were not just random sticks. These were 100% things
Right.
for me to show their compassion. You know.
Well, I totally get that. I sure do. I mean, I've had little. Well, let me tell you an incident that happened. I'm sitting in the living room in the house I live in now, and I've got my screen door, and it's fall. It's about this time of year, and I'm sitting there, and I hear this rock hit my door, and I got a street out in front of me. No car came by, slung a rock or nothing, and I look right as I hear it. I hear it hit the window, and I look, and I watched it literally hit the ground and spin. The rock did, and it did a little spin thing, and this rock was orange, an orange colored rock. Now we don't have any rocks like that in our gravel driveway. I haven't noticed it. This rock come from the creek, and the creek's down over the ledge, probably 300-400 yards across the street over the ledge. That's the only place that rock could have come from. Now, I consider that they left me that. They were letting me know that they was there, and they left that. Now I've come and went to go get in my truck several times, and it's happened this year too. But I went to go get in my truck, and there'd be a different colored leaf than what you see around in the area, right in my door handle. And this has happened a number of times, so I know that's their way of letting me know they're there.
Yeah.
And people can say what they want to. It fell out of a tree, blew over there. No, this was placed. And if you've seen what I'm talking about, you would know that this was placed like that for me to view it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
that orange colored rock, they threw it, you figure?
yes, threw it at my door.
Yeah.
To let me know they were there.
Yeah, and you saw it fall and everything, yeah.
Yes, I saw it fall on my porch.
Yeah.
I was right by my door when it hit, and it knew exactly when I was there. And it hit the door and bam, right on the floor, right on the front porch of the deck. And it spun on my deck. I've got the rock. I've got it in the carry-o cabinet. We got a carry-o cabinet. We keep little small trinkets and stuff. And I've still got that rock. Maybe when I get back home, I'll try to get that rock. But it's a brilliant colored rock. I mean, it's phenomenal, the colors that's in it. It's bright orange and stuff, and what it looks like.
Well, when you got a relationship with these people, then and they give you some kind of a gift, you know it. I mean, I remember one time they left me a feather, okay? And feathers fly around, but this feather was placed on my left front tire rim. And it was just like if like how's a feather just gonna be on your tire rim? You know, got a little tire rim, got a little shelf on it. I'm going, "Oh, okay, there's no mistake. They let you know it was for you, you know."
Right. I'm quite aware of that. I love getting little things like that, and I enjoy it. I think it's neat how they do that for certain people. I don't know if, I don't want to say that I'm so in tune with them that they just do everything for me because, you know, I don't know how in tuned I am. Let's put it that way. I don't know for myself. I just know that I keep having experiences, uh, and you can't describe you. It's hard to make people understand that you know exactly who they are, and that they're doing this. Um, like the feathers, I've gotten feathers. I just I get little notes in the woods. Where I go, I get little signs that let me know that they're there. They even make little signs going down the street that I live on because I've got a gifting area that I gift them little stones and stuff like that, crystals, and you know, uh, I don't gift them food anymore. That's another story I need to tell you. Yeah, I, we had a spot in our backyard that we would take and throw watermelon rinds and stuff like that, and we throw out our fruit that we wouldn't think was edible to us. You know what I mean? And we always dumped it in this one particular spot. We always thought the birds were getting it. Well, we quit doing it. We quit throwing stuff over there. We started as a compost pile because we had a garden going, and we started throwing it on the compost pile. But it wasn't a matter of I would say a week after we stopped throwing fruit because we eat fruit all the time. And but they broke a tree over, letting me know they was upset right there directly where it was, and they broke that tree clean over. I mean, this is in my backyard. That's how upset they got that I quit doing this. So I don't, it's not that I don't want to do it no more. It's just I think it was at that point I thought it was time to stop. If they could do, and, this has been 14 years ago that happened. Matter of fact, I used to be in the group Bigfoot community with Susie Matiosh, and I told my story to the group there. They didn't have live back then, I don't think, no. But I told my story to them and took pictures and everything. I did a video, and I let everybody know, and I showed them. That was not from the wind. I mean, if that wind was going to break over that tree, it'd have broke over the ones next to it, because these were on my fence line. I mean, they were growing right directly on my fence line. But this tree was broken over 7 foot, about 7 foot up in the air, broken right over and it was at least, I would say that tree was at least 7-8 inches round, and just snapped like nothing.
Yeah.
So at that point, I stopped doing the gifting food stuff. Now I come out here with Greg Yost, and he gives some food still. He still gives some donuts and stuff like that, But I gave him garlic one time. Try that out. But I'm sure they like just about anything. But
You say garlic? Garlic?
Yes.
I heard the guys up here like garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got away from that gifting part. Now I got a little stump over here that I put a couple crystals, and I got a fluorescent green rope tied around it. I'll walk over to the area and show you. I always try to do something, and I will leave something out on the table. But this is what I wanted it to be, close enough to camp to maybe get a visual or something. But this is what we left here. I left this here, and my wife tied up all that stuff. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
These are crystals here, and a different colored rope. Now this, when I come out here, we had it like this, and I put it back, but it was laying like that. that don't mean that the wind didn't blow it, but I'm just, we try to, that's the way I like to gift. I like to gift them different stones or, I've done Hot Wheels. I've had Hot Wheels disappear. I'm getting back to my little office here. But, yeah, I mean, the gifting part, that's about the extent I go with it anymore. I know they're there. I'm just, that's just me trying to play with them. If they want them, they can take them,
Yeah.
But I do know they like shiny objects like crows do. And now at my other gifting spot, I had them take a crystal. I put 3 crystals on 3 rocks, stacked them. I come back, the rocks were knocked down, 2 crystals was on the ledge. Now, a deer could have done this, but one of the crystals was gone. And, well, I set the rocks back up, put the other crystals back on there that I found, and put them back together and put it back the same way it was. Well, I come back to that spot, and that crystal returned. Now, I'm not there to see this, but it's strange how it returned back on the same spot that I put it originally.
Yeah.
And, and like I was telling you now, this is up the road from my house. And I'm driving, I drive past this spot. To go into the woods, you go to this spot where I got it, you got to walk maybe 60 yards into the woods. And nobody goes back there. I got a few videos in my group, I show where I'm following footprints and all that stuff. And, well, they leave me little signs going down the road. They'll break a tree limb over.
Mhm.
And that, just to show me that they're there. And I think they're trying to get me to come back, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah.
I try not to go into an area. I don't want to call that a research area. I call it a gifting area. Because,
Yeah.
I know they're back there.
Yeah. The name research kind of doesn't sit well with me either, because when you get a connection with them, they become like family or whatever, like research is kind of disrespectful. It's like you're going and researching your in-laws or something, like,
Yeah. Well, I never once ever called myself a researcher. There's so many people out there that, I'm past that stage of, and I'm not saying that I'm not no expert or nothing, but I'm past that stage where I want to go out and look for these signs. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I know they're there.
Yeah. Well, I got nothing against them, but it's just, for me, my relationship with them is like, I don't consider it to be like a researcher. I consider it to be like a
Family.
teacher's family, like
Exactly.
beautiful relationship. So
We'll see.
let me ask you something. Animal shape shifting, or looking through the eyes of animals or whatever. Have you experienced any of that kind of stuff? I've had a lot of that too, but
No, not. You mean shape shifting? No.
well, I mean, like owls or something, and they're not owls, kind of thing.
Well, I was telling you about me hunting on them 350 acres. Now I will tell you this, and this was 2 years ago. Every time I'd pull up, they would let me know they was there. I would hear a whoop, and then I'd hear an owl call.
Mm-hmm.
One of them made the owl sound, and the other one made the whoop.
Yeah,
If you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
But I think they enjoyed. I think they knew, hey, I'm going to go in there and hunt. And I always, like I said, I always left the liver and the heart for them. And and every deer that I ever kill, I say a prayer over. I thank Mother Nature, thank God, and everything. And I think they know that. I think they know that okay, I'm more along the line of how they are. with it spiritually. You know, I appreciate that nature's giving me these offers. You know,
Well, they would
you know,
appreciate that. I think that they honor. I think that they have that kind of honor when they kill an animal or whatever too. I think like they respect that kind of stuff. So I think
right,
they would like that, obviously.
right. It's I think they realize that I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for survival purposes because I'm not starving or nothing. I do it because I like to meat and I like to hunt. You know, I'm not out there trophy hunting. I don't care. I don't care if a 42 point buck walks past me. I'm not going to be there excited to shoot it, if you know what I mean. I'd rather let something that big go on and thrive. You know,
Excuse me. Went down the
I
wrong way.
wanted to chime in on the researcher business, and because I just think that it's just a kind of a funny thing, this whole research phenomena. To me, researchers are a little bit like a 13-year-old boy who sees a girl across the street, and he starts whooping and hollering and stuff, and then he gets excited and goes out and reads a book on how to find girls, and you know
yeah,
and then he like
yeah,
sneaks into her backyard and looks at her window, and
right,
trying to get a picture of her and stuff. And it's like, well, okay, that's kind of like a phase that people go through, but at some point, you know you want to be friends, because it's a lot better being friends, and at some point you just say, hey, I want to be your friend, and the girl goes, okay, and that's about it. So that's the difference between the experiencers and the
right,
researchers, is we're friends with them, and it's just pretty normal.
right. Well, I think people overdo it sometimes too. That's like the area that I got up by my house. I lived there. I've lived there 14 years. I didn't start going to this spot till about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. And you know how many times I've been to that spot in that time? Maybe 5 times. That's because I don't want to keep invading their privacy. You know, I believe a lot of these researchers, they go in the same exact area where they had their sighting or whichever, and they totally burn out the Sasquatch people. They totally burn them out, and that's why they stop having things happen.
Yeah.
They've got lives to live too. Kind of like I got to go to work 5 days a week. You know, they may need to. I'm pretty sure they're hunters and gatherers. I mean, they've got things to do too to keep their health up and stuff.
Well, it's
I
just
just think people overdo it.
well. Think about it. They're people, right? If you go and approach a
Yes,
person and say, "Hi, I'm Brian. I would like to meet you," you're going to get you're more likely to get a very positive reaction or whatever. If you approach
right,
somebody with respect, not
right,
infringe on their privacy, all that kind of stuff that you would do with any kind of relationship where you respect.
exactly. Well,
And
I know that.
like a lot of it's just it's two different approaches, and I think the respect and heartfelt approach is the way to get a relationship with them and a connection. That's what they want.
Right, right. Well, and I'm not going to talk down about the show Finding Bigfoot, but their approach to finding Bigfoot is total opposite of what I do. You know, I'm not. It's a wonder they'll ever find one. Or they'll ever have an encounter.
We
I
don't
mean,
really,
you got to
we don't really even know if that's what they really do. Maybe that's just for the show.
right, and
Who knows?
uh, that's that's a weak approach to me. To have someone tell you a sighting and then go a week later to the spot. Uh, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't take a lot of people with me, so because I don't want to offend them. I've only took one person to my gifting spot, and that was Steve Brooks. He's got his own little group, does a little show. He knows we're there. He went with me. He knows. He's a person. He's a knower. But I really try not to go. Like I said, I've been in them woods up from my house in 14 years 5 times, and that was just in the last 3 years. I mean, I don't want to overdo it and invade their space. And my gifting was letting them know that I'll probably come back in there. That's why I left the crystals. I didn't leave the crystals because I wanted interaction, but that wasn't my main goal. I was wanting to gift them the crystals,
Yeah.
But like I said, I do believe people wear it out, and I think the basic approach that I use now is I go camping. I may walk 20 yards back in the woods or something, look around a little bit, but I basically stay at the campsite, and I have more stuff happen like that than I ever would going in the woods and trying to search them, search them out.
Yeah.
Can I catch up with a little bit of the, shout outs to the audience here? We got Pat McCrae, Cindy Lard, we got Michael Glasgow, Keoma, there's a lot of people. But listen, we have a question from Cindy Lard. Oh, who else is down here? Keoma and Christine McDonald. She says she considers herself an experienced student. Lynn Thompson, she says, well put, Michael Harrell. So I got to give myself credit for that. But Cindy Lard says, have you ever had a bad experience? A lot of people want to know this. And you did say about your getting sick and feeling like you're going to die.
Yeah, that would have to be the worst thing. Well, the aggression when I blocked the Sasquatch from crossing the creek and being together. I would say those 2 things are the worst things that's ever happened.
She says, well put, Michael Harrell, so I got to give myself credit for that. But Cindy Lodge says, have you ever had a bad experience? A lot of people want to know this.
Hello?
You did say about
something funny went on here.
Sick and feeling.
Something's going on here. It just replayed everything we talked about. Well, the aggression when I blocked the Sasquatch from crossing the creek and being together. I would say those 2 things are the worst things that's ever happened. She says, well put, Michael Harrell, so I got to give myself credit for that. What we got going on here? Have you ever had a bad experience? A lot of people want to know that. Hello? You did say about something funny went on here. Sick and feeling. Going on here. You just replayed everything we talked about. Well, the aggression when I blocked the Sasquatch. Hello? What y'all got going on there?
I think we're back. Hey, who's playing? I was playing it actually. I don't know, but is it playing again somewhere?
No, it's not playing now, but it was playing. It was a reenactment for sure.
Yeah,
that's some mysterious woo-woo stuff right there.
Yeah.
I'd like to answer that too. I've never had a bad experience myself either, but
no, I mean the getting sick part I didn't like. I hope that don't ever happen again.
But the thing is that I got called into the woods to go. They called me, and then everything started unfolding, and I respected them from day one. So why would they give me a bad experience?
Right. Well, I hear them calling to me all the time when I drive down the road. They want me to come back in there, but I've got so many things I'm doing myself that I've got to take care of that I don't. When I do find the time, I don't do it. I don't know why, but I do know that I feel that inner feeling telling me in the signs they do, the broken over twigs kind of pointing in the direction they want me to go. Stuff like that. I just feel them calling me, you know.
There's different kinds of phases that you go through. Like there was a time for quite a while where they would just let me know, like psychically where they wanted me to go. Like you go here, go there, go here, and then they would
Right.
leave stuff and whatever. And then you move on
Right,
to
I've,
another
I've
phase.
had that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, no, what I meant, I don't know if you understood me, but like I got a call, like a telepathic call to go to the woods, go to the mountains. Then everything started happening for me with them. But you know, like right from day one when I went in there, I was very respectful because I had good people like Carla. Well,
Yes.
it was in my nature too. It was in my nature too. That's who I am.
Well, yeah, you
But
know, it's
people
all,
like Carla telling me about respect and other people telling me about respect. So I had a really good foundation and whatever. And so I've never had a bad
well,
experience
see,
because I've treated
that's
them with respect.
yes, that's another thing too that I believe the reason I've got somewhat of a connection is because I care about nature. I care about animals.
Hmm.
You know, just the other day, man, and it's a sad story, but I ran over a kitten, and I was going to work early in the morning, and it's my fault. I was doing a little faster driving than what I normally do, and I didn't see the cat, but the cat ran right out in front of me. But instantly, I felt sorrow. You know, I still do now.
Yeah.
I just don't like hurting animals, and you know, it's not my nature. You know, to
Oh,
kill a deer now, to eat it is one thing, but you know, to even accidentally killing one, I don't. You know, I see dead animals on the road, it saddens me. I don't like to see it. You know,
I
and I
feel
think
you.
you're in tune with that.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm exactly the same way. I can
I
see,
saw,
like, I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, this sounds stupid. It really does sound stupid, but well, maybe to most people it wouldn't sound stupid, or some people. But I'll see a little squirrel running across the road, and if it gets hit, I'll just like burst into tears. Like it's just like
well, you know,
my heart just breaks. You know, like
I may look like this big old tough guy and all that stuff, but really deep down inside, you know, and I'm going to tell you point blank, I cried
I'm
when
not
I
ashamed to say it.
when
Like,
I hit the cat.
I
I
cry.
mean,
I cry every time I look at Mr. Beans.
well, you know,
He's the world's
Well,
handsomest man.
yeah,
this
well,
brings up a big point, and that is the in my people always say, who are the Sasquatch people, and I call them that they're archangel class heart spirits. You know, they have a lot of heart. So if you've got heart, they're going to respond to you, and that's
right,
one of the threads that runs through with all the experiencers. The experiencers, they're into their dogs, their cats, or they're doing service to the community, or they're therapists, or something. They have heart. So if and you have to have heart for the Sasquatch to actually want to be your friend, and I think that's a big clue. People need to pay attention to that. You can't go out and be a macho man or scaredy cat. That's not going to work.
well, you know what? You know, you talk about, you know, like people that want to go out and take their guns with them. I understand you want to protect yourself, but they're aware of that stuff. You know, they know you got that. They're not. My phone is about I got 15% on my phone. So if we wind up going dead, I'm sorry, but you know, it's like people carrying guns and stuff, and you know, you hear people all the time say, "Well, I'm gonna shoot one." You know, that's the wrong attitude. You sure as heck ain't gonna find one that way.
Can,
You
can
might
you
you
plug?
might find.
Can you plug in?
Yeah, I go to my truck. Yeah, let me plug
We
in.
got Barry Webster here. We're gonna
Plug
say
in.
hello to him.
Plug in so it doesn't run out if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I kind of like the background I had, but
No, I hear you, but
there ain't nobody
We
standing
got
in this
Barry
truck.
Webster here too.
yeah, he's
Just a
been
second.
sitting there lurking in the weeds.
Oh, let me
Hey,
unlock the
Barry, you're
door.
allowed to come on and say hello.
Okay, I'm in my office. This is my normal office. Okay, I'm charging. No, but I believe, I was talking about guns and stuff. They know your intent before you ever do it. I believe they read your mind.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
instant you get into their zone, their vibration, they know.
Yeah. Well,
You need to repeat that again because this is a key element to understand Sasquatch. If you don't get this, then you might as well be looking for badgers or weasels or something. Because if you don't get that they have that ability, you don't get Sasquatch.
Exactly. And like I said, as soon as you get into their zone of their vibration, they know exactly what's on your mind. They know what you're going to do. They, how can I say? Well, here's a good example. When I went back to the woods to check on my crystals that I had placed out, they knew I was coming, and I started. I went around the area where this was, and and I did a video, and I was following footprints, large prints. I mean, I wasn't getting them 1, 2 in a row, but I was following them. And when I come to find out, I wasn't following him. He was following me. He knew where I was going. And he basically was circling me. As I went this way, he went this way and kept his eye on me. And somebody told me in the video that they seen it. And I've never went through the video and seen what they're talking about. But where they described it at was at that point, and I could feel it too because my hair was standing up on my arms. I don't know if y'all ever get that, like electrical charge. No, and it's almost
A
like
lot of people do.
electricity.
A lot of
Yeah,
people. Or you get a
like,
poke or a feeling or an energy
right.
or a knowing. There's a lot of different ways for them to let you know.
Yeah. Well, I've heard some kind of chatter before, and I don't know if that was them or what it was, but it was like they were speaking in a different language or something. I couldn't make out what was being said, but I have had that experience. But I was talking about being in tune with them. I get out of tune with them too, because sometimes I'll go through a stretch and nothing happens, and I can't explain that. And it's not that I'm a bad person or anything. I think it more falls along the line that I've got too much on my mind and they know it, so they don't want to interfere with it.
And sometimes it's them too. They have funerals. They have like births. They have camp meetings with other clans. So they got
Right
stuff to
on.
do. Those they have an agenda to meet a lot of humans because it's to their survival and our survival. We both need to be friends. So there's a lot of activity about reaching out to other people. So they're busy. They're not like
Right.
just laying around in paradise. They're doing
Yeah,
stuff all the time.
That's I run a group, and people can be mad at me if they want to, but I'm not into the sales part of Bigfoot. I'm not trying to make money off of Bigfoot. I think if you was gonna make money, which I'm not mad at people for doing it, don't take me wrong, but if you're gonna make money, at least put some of it back into nature.
some of it, yeah.
That's the best way to help them. Plant a tree. Plant a fruit tree or something. And I think a lot of people out there are in it for the wrong reasons. And, you got a lot of people that's got a lot of good stories, but they always back that story with a sales pitch too. So, I'm not one of those people. I just want to tell what's happened. Maybe somebody understand it, because there's some things I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to learn. And, like I was talking about how you'll have an experience and it might be 2-3 years before you realize what that experience was about.
Yeah.
You just didn't pick it up at that time. And I get that happen a lot.
Let me step in there on that. I was just making my breakfast out there, but I wanted to get back to one of your points, and then I have a comment. Yeah, that you don't know what it's about at the time. Like, and you were talking about like they know what you're doing before you do it. Like they know what
Right.
you're doing. They can know what you're doing 5 years before you do it.
Well,
Serious.
well,
No, they can't. No, they can because I mean, they've actually proven it to me. They, because time is like not. I say this pretty well every show, but it's an important point. Time is
right.
like not 3D linear like it is for us. They really don't have those restraints. Can I also? I got a comment from somebody, Maureen Johnson, and she said, "I seem to be in the process of learning to see, hear, accept the calls and the signs. This program, the Pork and Beans, and guests like Tony Maples is part of my process, and I'm comforted. Feel like I'm in good hands here." Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
thank you.
and Sky Peterson says, all my teachings have always been hindsight teachings, never anything forward. I'd have to think about that, but I definitely agree. I definitely agree with the hindsight part. But anyway, go ahead.
There's been a lot of times I wanted to have an experience and it never happened. And it's,
Ain't that the truth?
It's at the weirdest times that these experiences happen. And you know what? I don't think I've ever had an experience that I was ready for. Wasn't something I contemplated. Let's put it that way. The things that have happened to me have always been shocking. I mean, it's
surprise, surprise, surprise.
It's the big surprise. It's like scratching off a lottery ticket. You don't know what's going to happen until you scratch off that last number. You can win big or you don't.
Well, I got a question, sort of like along the scientific fill in the blank kind of thing. Is you look at the trajectory of your life, and can you say, are you the same guy you always were, or did the involvement with Sasquatch change your life? And if it changed, it would be for the good or for the worse. Could you talk about the changes that you actually can record of because of them?
I could say I've always been the good-hearted person I've been. I'm still that today. I love to help people. I help others without expecting something in return. But as far as it, the only real change, me seeing one and knowing, that first sighting I had, me seeing it, the only real change that it done to me was made me more aware that they are out there. Because, as a kid, I watched Leonard Nimoy and all his in search of and all that stuff, Bigfoot. Back then, you hear people say, "Oh, that's all a hoax. That's not true. That's a costume." I mean, then you get as far in as I am, and it wasn't until that moment that I seen the one at my house walk across my door that I totally got infatuated with it. It was at that instant that I knew something was there. But like I said, I was scared for 2-3 months, and it caused me to do more internet research and looking at other people's stories and talking to people on chat, how they dealt with it as far as becoming more one with them than being a separate entity. Um, I think that was the biggest change in my life. It let me be aware that there's other things out there. And all them years of hunting in the woods, I hunted many a years before this and never seen a Sasquatch. That don't mean they wasn't there. Um, and like that woman that did my reading, she told me it's always been with me. So maybe that I know for a fact that my grandmother dying was a big reason that they showed, but that he showed himself. But I also think it was my time to see him, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Uh, they
And
knew that
also having your heart soft, very softened. That's part of it. A soft
yeah,
heart.
yeah. I believe that those people get the most interaction, and you know, I come here to camp because I like to camp, but I also like to have experiences with them. And I'm not scared of them no more. Like I said, I walked around when I had that sighting for about 2 or 3 months, and I never went outside without a gun and a flashlight. But the problem I had was I didn't have enough knowledge to understand that if he wanted to hurt me, he could have. You know. So I finally got on that uh, pattern of not being scared and realizing, hey, it could be here down this trail I'm going. Uh, so I don't get so stunned anymore when something happens.
The end of
I mean, I
fear
feel
is
a
a
lot.
big. The end of fear is a big deal. In my opinion, you have to
Yeah,
look at the people who've gone through their fear and then stood shoulder to shoulder with the Sasquatch. It's some kind of a rite of passage, and in my opinion, a lot of people who are given huge amounts of fear in the beginning is also a gift, because if when they begin to work through that, and it may take them 4, 5, 7 years, and then they step out on the other side, they're pretty much a changed person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
well, I'm just
it's a
going.
big deal.
Well, you remember when I told you I took my 243 and I put that gray Bigfoot in the scopes? Remember me telling you that earlier?
Yeah.
Well, they are not afraid of me with a gun because they know me. Uh, I mean, they know my intentions, and they know that it's not my capacity to shoot a firearm at them. I'm not. I never would ever think about that. And there's a lot of people out there that want to get a body and stuff, and that's that's so not the right way to be. Uh, I could probably dig up a gravesite if I wanted to, and I'm not going to do that. Matter of fact, when I found two of them on my mom's property, and I'm going to tell you right now, when I stepped into the area where this was, I felt sorrow. I mean, I automatically felt sorrow for some reason, and I didn't tell you
I have felt that sorrow too.
yeah, and I
And
was
it
saddened.
is over the death of a Sasquatch that I don't even know, but I just felt it.
Exactly. But and then and I get to looking at it, and I'm like, what is this? This is a mound, and there's no tractors that's been back there or anything. Uh, and this has been there it's probably been there a few years. Now I know the one below my hunting spot. Now that one's been there for a long time. I don't know if it's Indian or if it's Sasquatch, but I believe it's Sasquatch. I believe they buried their people in the same areas.
There's absolutely Sasquatch bones buried, and there's people who know who they are, like you know where they are, and most of the humans that care about Sasquatch are not going to ever tell.
No,
But there,
I will never take nobody there. And
yeah,
luckily, where they are, there's never going to be any construction back there because nobody's ever going to build on that hill. It's just a hillside. You know, I don't see anybody in the near future wanting to even purchase the property due to the terrain. You know, uh, but you know, like I was telling you, I did feel the emotions that I felt when I walked upon it, and I noticed these ferns that were planted around it, like they did it to honor the Sasquatch person that's in that grave, and to mark it. And I mean, there was trees broken over back in there too, and you know, the funny thing is, the only reason I found it is I was following a deer trail, and I had to literally walk in underneath um, honeysuckle plants that were vined up over these trees, and it was, and these honeysuckles surrounded this area too, and I never would have noted if I didn't see that opening and walked under it. Now, those might not have been as big back then when they buried the Sasquatch there. I don't know, but you know, those had taken some time to grow to make it. It was almost like a entry to like a, I don't know, like an old cowboy movie. You know how they got the big door on the fort? It was kind of like that, you know, like a surrounded like a fort, you know. And
oh,
all
so
these trees,
this was like a sacred space. What you're talking about is a sacred space, a
right,
this is designated, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all about this. I did say a prayer there, and I didn't know who it was or what it, you know. Like you said, we may not never know, but I did say a prayer before I left, and you know, I haven't been back to that spot since. In my opinion, I feel like I'd be violating their space because when I felt the sorrow, I also felt like I was in violation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, but now that you know, you would have to say a prayer before you went over that arch, and
Exactly.
then it would be, you know, you'd be accepted for, right. But
Right. I
that's
will
pretty
never
deep
take
right
anybody
there.
there. I will never take anybody there. Never. I just don't think it's. I don't want to show anybody anything. You know, and it's not that I don't have anybody I can trust. I just don't think it's right. You know, to divulge where it's at.
Unless you were given permission, or you know, or you're on a mission or something from the Sasquatch or for the Sasquatch. Like in a way, the Sasquatch wanted you to tell this story about them being human and honoring their dead. That's a
Right.
sort of a mission, or a little poke. You got
And you
poked to
know,
tell a story.
I also want to say this: Sasquatch burial is a very private thing, and those are the feelings I got too, letting me know, hey, this is a very private area, private thing. Uh, Almost like, you know, I don't think they were mad because I was there, because I know they was probably watching me. You know, they wasn't mad because I was there, because like I said, I did say a prayer and I walked away. I went back out the same way I came in. That's how much I think about them. You know, I don't try to do anything strange or abnormal, because I don't, you know, I don't think you can catch them off guard, and if you do, it's probably an old one that has the same, like hearing problems or something like that, or seeing problems. They have the same health issues. We just don't know how they deal with them.
Well, there's a saying that I think comes from the Sasquatch. It says, if you walk with Sasquatch, you walk with honor. And I really think that's true. And if you don't walk with honor, you're not going to walk with Sasquatch. You have
Right.
to honor what they're doing. You have to honor nature. You have to honor God. You have to honor your families, and if you walk with honor, then they'll walk with you.
Yes. Well, they may not walk alongside of you, but they'll be there around you. I mean, I feel them all the time. Like right now, I feel like they're right here.
I
But
do too.
I'm
I do
not
too.
seeing them. I'm not seeing them, but I feel like they're there. They know I'm here.
Can you describe that? How do you feel them? Like an energy?
It's like kind of like an energy. Well, plus another reason I know is because my dog will look off into the woods at times and do some barking. That's another reason I know. But the energy that I get, it's not like a bad energy. It's just a deep feeling that I know something's there.
Right.
I don't know how to explain that.
It feels
And
like
I've never,
it feels like a loving, to me, it feels like a loving, connected,
yeah,
not judgmental. It's just kind of like a beautiful, pure, loving energy. Kind of.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I try not to. I don't like getting in that. Everybody calls it the woo stuff. We've talked about a lot of that stuff that I try not to get into with people about, because people that ain't experienced it won't believe it.
Well, you know what? You just got to tell it anyway, because if you're going to tell the story about them, you have to tell it as it is, and the people who do believe it are supposed to believe it. Those who don't, that's fine. They're just not
Exactly.
ready to believe it. But you don't sell them short. Always, don't. I mean, my personal opinion is, I'm never going to say, well, I don't want to say this or that, because people might not believe it, or they might think I'm crazy or that. I don't care. You have to give them the credit.
Well, I don't care anymore.
No, but yeah.
I don't.
No, I
I
know.
don't take somebody's experience and tell them, no, I don't. It didn't. They ain't like that. I don't do that. I believe everybody's Sasquatch experiences are different. They may be similar, but they're all different. They're not.
Absolutely.
There's certain meanings for certain things that happen when they get around you. It may take you a day to figure it out. It may take you 3 years. Like I said, it's taken me close to 3 years to figure some things out and why it happened. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to say I know exactly why it happened, but I got more clarity to it.
You feel that they connect you to people and situations that enhance your growth or their growth?
Yeah, I think they brought me to Arla when they brought me to Arla.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Arla's a great gal. She is, I've learned some stuff from Arla. I mean, I haven't been around Arla personally a whole lot. I've only been around her one time. And the one time that I was with her energy alone, and if somebody wants to call me silly or whatever, you can feel her energy, and it's a good energy. It's like a loving energy. I don't know how to explain it. But I felt connected with her, especially when we went walking. Matter of fact, where I'm camped at is not Greg Yost's spot. I'm at another campsite, but these are the woods that me and her went through. And she showed me glyphs and stuff. And I mean, but you could just feel the connection she has with them too. the minute you get around her.
Yep.
I want to say, I want to say another thing about the interactions is, we're talking about, oh, look, I got this, I got that. But to me, you have to take it personally. Every single little gift or interaction or hint, or like this whole thing of like you deciding to go up to this hill and have a look around. And then you had these experiences. That was a personal experience. They give each of us personal experience, and you have to take it personally. It's not just a random. It's always open for being random, always open for being an accident. But then you got this. It's never an accident. It is personal.
Well, I'm going to tell you all something, and the viewers, they can listen to me. They don't have to believe me. I'm going to tell you something I don't tell a lot of people. But I can predict some things that happen. And the bad part about it is all the stuff that I can predict and tell you what's going on. It's normally bad stuff. And I don't like to talk about it a whole lot, but I believe I've got a certain gift that a lot of other people don't have. And I do have the gift to know things that other people don't know. It's an ability, I guess, but it's a disability to me because, well, let me just tell you this story. We were watching the news one day, and this woman claimed that a black guy took her kids and took her car and abducted her kids. And right there at that moment, I got this feeling. And I told my wife, I said, them kids are in that car in a lake up there by there somewheres. I said, I can feel it. And it wasn't 3 days later they found them kids in that car. And I told my wife then, I said, she's the one that killed them kids. And it wasn't no premonition. I knew it. You know what I mean? I knew it right then at that moment, which was kind of strange. And
yeah, but that's real. That's real. You gotta believe in the river you're swimming in. That's real.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens a lot. I could tell you more stories. I don't want to get into that much because I don't like to talk about the sorrow part of that. Because I feel bad for them children.
I want to ask you more on that one story though. So you knew the mother did it, but was she ever convicted?
Yes, and I can't remember her name, but she's still in prison to this day for murdering her kids. But she's not the only. That's not the.
Wait a minute, Diane Downs?
No.
That's a famous one.
My wife knows the name. I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
Is it just?
But, when I get those flashes in my brain, I guess you could call it, and I predict that stuff, and it comes true, it just breaks my heart. I have a hard time dealing with that part. That's why I don't talk about it much.
Give us another example, if you don't mind. Well, unless you don't want to talk about it, but do you have another example?
Yeah, I predicted it. I can't really give you names, but even watching stuff on TV and stuff, people, now they've got a man that's killed right now and a woman and a girl that's buried on the property. And I know she's on the property. She's over by a grain bin, buried by a grain bin, but they still haven't found her body. They're going to wind up finding it. And this has happened in Kentucky. They're going to wind up finding her by that grain bin, somewhere around that grain bin. And see, I knew that right off the bat when that happened. Now they haven't found her yet, but now that I've told you that story and that story comes to life and they find her, you're going to know I'm telling you the facts, you know. And
What happened to her?
Her boyfriend that she was with killed her, and her dad literally was on the road to finding out the information he needed to get him, and he knew it, and he killed her dad too.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to tell everybody I've got these abilities. You know, I really shouldn't even brought it up, but you know, that's just something that
I want to ask you this. Have the Sasquatch enhanced this ability in you, or did you always have it, or both?
That's Maureen Johnson. That's Maureen Johnson's question. Reach down there. She says exactly the same thing. Says, Tony, do you think this gift has been enhanced or more apparent to you alongside your Sasquatch experience?
Well,
That's a
you
good
know,
question.
I never really. Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, if you think about it, after my sighting, when it walked across my doorway, after all that, I think because I never really noticed that before. I think I don't know if it has or not. I can't tell you for sure, but it seems like after the fact of me seeing that one personally and up close, I mean, that's when I started doing all that stuff and
Sounds like it to me.
Being able to know certain things. And I mean, it's not all the time. I don't go around every day and know these things. It just pops in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm channeled right or whatever to be able to open that doorway all the time. It's a doorway that opens up at random. You know, it's not something I can turn on and turn off.
Yeah.
Now, if you understand that.
Yeah.
But you know, my wife will vouch for me. She'll tell you, hey, I predict stuff all the time. I predict the outcome before other people know.
Who's going to win the? Who's going to win the election?
Go ahead.
Who's going to win?
I can't do all that. I don't do all that.
What, you don't know that?
Who's going to what?
Who's going to win the election?
I can't really tell you that one. I think Trump's going to win, but I don't like to talk politics, mix that with Bigfoot.
No.
Well, you know, I think this is important because you know, it's part of the woo. It is foretelling, right? You're foretelling something that's going to happen, and that's like a big clue. I mean, there's in my here's the thing: the researchers say, oh, the woo, that's nothing, that's all fantasy, right? And yet, every major metropolitan police force, they have psychics. Some of them have multiple psychics. You know, and then there's the remote viewing community that the governments use, big business use, which is basically the same kind of thing, but they do it as a team, right? A remote viewing is a business, about $1 billion a year business, which uses the psychic foretelling into the future of what's going on, right?
Right.
So it's like
I believe
this is
that,
part
but
of the thing.
I'm not that strong. I guess there's a certain strength to be able to do it all the time. I don't have that ability. I'm not claiming to, you know, be this big person that goes out and knows everything about everything that happens. No, it's just little things. It's certain things that just snap, you know, and let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, are we going to do the introduction to the show yet, Mr. Beans? We never did that.
Yeah, this was a good warm up. I think we should start the show now.
Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Port Cunningham, and I'm here with my distinguished, honorable co-host, Frank Oliver Beans, the world's most handsome man. And our guest today is Tony Maples. Hey, Tony. This is
Hey,
the official
Tony.
official show.
Hey,
How
Tony.
y'all doing?
Don't be
I think we're a
embarrassed
little
because I'm
late
so
on that.
handsome.
Yeah, I think we're a little late on that introduction.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
man. Better late than never.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got a little bit of a late
I'm getting
start.
where I'm getting hungry. I cooked breakfast and never ate it, so I'm probably gonna cut the show short. I'm ready to do some grubbing.
Are you? Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad I got the introduction done just in time then. That was a pretty short.
Yeah. You got some really good stories. Like
Pretty
none of them are like out in the stars or whatever the big, but it's these solid experience after experience after experience after experience. You know, a lifetime. You know, it's just a great
Well, I've got a lot
story.
more things to tell you, but you know, like I said, I forget more than sometimes some of the things y'all bring up spark a memory. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm just, but right now I think I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed being on here and talking with you guys. And if anybody has any other questions, then feel free to text me if you want.
Yeah, when you get off the show, you can go back to the Pork and Beans show and the group, and you can see all the messages. And if you need here's one from Cindy Larch. It says, "Have you ever been touched, as like physically touched or poked or something?"
Oh, I thought you meant the other way.
In the dark, I have. In the dark, and I know. Well, come on, now, don't take us anywhere else. But yes, in the dark. I was literally walking to a spot that I hunt, and I was going to ground hunt and just sit down and sit in this particular spot that had its own ground blind, nature's ground blind. And I got tapped on my shoulder one time, and I felt it, and it was blunt. It was like a big solid finger. You know, I knew it was a finger, let's put it that way, but it was a big finger. And I was scared to death. And when that happened, the moment that happened, the strange thing is, and I put it all together, but also a rabbit jumped up in front of me. I got this dinky little flashlight, and I happened to see the rabbit jump as it touched me, which like the rabbit was scared of something other than me. So, yes, I've had that happen. But I can't tell you for a fact it was a Sasquatch. I don't want to lead people to believing they wanted to touch me or something, because let's just say I felt it on my shoulder, on the back of my back, basically. And it was a solid poke. And I used to do some night stuff. I quit doing all that stuff when I almost poked my eyeball out. So no, I don't do no more night research. I stay where I know where I'm at.
Can I ask you one more question before we close out? Because I ask everybody this. So what do you think the Sasquatch are here for at this time? What are they trying to do with us? What's their purpose for contacting certain people?
I think they're letting certain people know that you're on the right track. As far as your ability to love and understand nature and the way you treat nature. I think that's where they get the connection with you. Because like me, when I go out and I see trash, I've done cleaned up a number of pieces of trash out of this woods this weekend. I mean, it just makes me sick to know that people are trashy enough to trash God's wilderness, the Sasquatch people's dwellings, I just don't like it.
They notice it too. They appreciate it.
Yeah, I take a bag with me every time I go out. And I'm just, I didn't take a bag this time, but pretty much every time if I know I'm going to go to an area, I'll take a bag with me. And I think everybody ought to do that. And if everybody done that, the world would be a much cleaner place. And it preserves nature for, our Bigfoot friends, and
Yeah.
I just think people need to appreciate it because once it's gone, it's not going to return.
Well, it will, but we might be gone, and then it'll return afterwards.
Right.
But,
but people have a big impact on the forest and stuff.
So you think that, I think that being out in nature opens our hearts and our minds and our spirits up. So that's what you think. One of the reasons they're here is to introduce us to nature and ourselves and whatever.
They're also telling us we need to watch what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we're destroying stuff. Everybody wants to build a house in the forest, You're going in and, you might cut down a almost extinct owl, a home that an almost extinct owl lives in. We're doing it every day, That's why when I die, I want to be cremated. I don't want to be put in the ground. I don't want to take a spot up for a tree or something like that, or.
No, me either. I'm claustrophobic even when I'm dead.
Yeah, there you go too. I feel like I'm part of the earth, so I need to go back to the earth.
That's big time claustrophobic when you're scared of being put in a coffin.
Yeah.
I am super claustrophobic. I could never be a miner or anything like that.
No, I can't either. They try to get me at work. They try to get me in them tanks, and they wanted me to help clean them tanks. And I told them, "Oh no, it's not going to happen. I'm not getting in there.
No.
I won't be inside of nothing that's enclosed and got a 3-foot manhole, and that's all you got.
Yeah.
No.
Going and working in a mine underground or whatever would be like the ultimate nightmare for me. It would drive me out of my mind.
Yeah, I would have bad anxieties in a situation like that because I'd always think the ceiling's going to fall.
Exactly. Like checking the sky.
But I've really enjoyed talking with you guys. I think y'all got a great show going on. I believe there's a lot of knowledge people can get from this.
Yeah, people need a place they can go to hear some woo. There's all the people who've experienced spiritual things from the Sasquatch. They don't ever get any respect from most of the researchers. The researchers are getting better, but
yeah, you got that right. And I don't normally talk a lot about the woo because people do want to say you're crazy, but I really don't care what they think about me. But in general, I try to. I accept the fact that there's that part, the woo part, and I can't explain it all, but I still try to explain it scientifically.
Yeah.
I've still got that part of me that wants to try to explain it scientifically, and like walking through what I walked through. I can't explain that, but I know what happened. I can explain it to a certain extent, but I can't explain how it made itself invisible other than it looking like steam. Because I don't know what I walked through, but I feel I walked through one. I feel like I walked through one in its spiritual cloaking form.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm not going to run around and tell everybody that. I'm telling you all that because that's what I believe. But everybody else can take their own assumption.
And the funny part is, most of these people who make the most fun of them are the Christians, And there's no way you can believe in God without the woo, because what do you think prayer is? Prayer is talking to an invisible being, you know?
Right.
And worship is
Exactly.
an invisible being. And then Christ was like the most woo guy there was. He was healing people and seeing people, bringing people back from the dead, walking on. That's, you know what I mean? So the guy that they're supposed to worship the most is the most woo in the world, right? And then when it comes out to nature, they go, well,
But he's the only woo guy. Everything else is demonic. Right? He's the only
Yeah.
guy that allowed to have the woo going on.
Well, now I've had people tell me that you know, why you want to go out and look for Bigfoot? Number one, I don't look for them no more. Number two, they're not demonic. People, I've had so many people just this past year tell me that they are demons from hell, and all the bad stuff going on now is why they're here, and that they're going to eat everybody. You know,
Hey, if you've ever been hit up with their love, and I know you have or whatever, like, and that loving energy that can bring you to tears and you feel all connected to everything or whatever, no one is ever going to tell me that that's demonic.
yeah,
That is not demonic, man.
right. I mean, the energy, no, not when it feels good. The energy. Now, I didn't like that bad energy that I got walking through it. I think I was overwhelmed with energies when it happened. I think it accidentally gave me too much.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I had that at one time too.
you can actually pass out from getting too much energy.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Because you know, the gurus, right? The gurus in India, right? They have these people who are their followers. And the gurus, they have this thing called satsang, right? Where the people, the followers come and listen to the guru. And what he's doing, and it takes like years, they'll follow the guru for 5 or 7 years. What he's doing is he's gradually raising everybody's vibration up, and it takes years to do this. And that's another reason why the Sasquatch aren't, sitting around the picnic table, chatting with you. It takes years to raise a person's vibration up to that kind of a level where they're unaffected by higher vibrational energies. That's what gurus do. It takes years for them to bring people's vibration up, and then they give them their little gift or whatever. And the Sasquatch are kind of in the same way. Is they'll be around you, and then slowly they get more and more personal and more heart to heart. You know.
Well, I'm going to tell you one more thing, and you can take out of it what you want. But I was hunting in that deer blind, and you remember me telling you me putting the scope on that gray Bigfoot. Okay. Well, the strange thing is that week that happened, I was sitting up in a deer blind, and I felt like my sinuses had cleared. Real, like I don't know if you ever had a cold and you had nasal drip, and it finally dissipates and your sinuses clear and open up. I had this happen and my nose started bleeding. I think their vibration caused my nose to bleed, and which in turn forced me to go to the doctor, and they found a mass on my vocal cord. I believe they done that. They took my energy up so high that it caused my nose to bleed, when in turn they knew I was going to go to the doctor over it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went to the doctor and they determined that, and I had to have surgery and stuff. But I believe that was part of their energy that caused that.
I believe you too.
And I mean, I'm not saying that they care about me, but I think they did. They did at that time. Because, well, anybody going to feed you the liver and a heart of something that they enjoy eating and give it to you as a gift, you're going to be one of their buddies,
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. it's beautiful when they give you gifts, like when you that kind of stuff. Like yeah,
Yeah.
when they when they accept you into their family, and just it's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
So
like I said,
I think in closing, I would like to I think that if you're going to have a relationship with them, anybody has a relationship with them, they owe it to anybody that they're talking to represent them in fully. I mean,
right.
who cares what people
I,
believe? You've got to tell people who they really are. So that's the way I am. I think it's the way Mr. Beans is.
yeah. Well, you can look at it like this too, Brian, because you never really knew me neither. How do we know it didn't draw us together?
Oh well, no, of
Good
course.
point.
Well, no. I
You,
mean,
you,
no. I mean, look, they're constantly connecting me with people. That's my experience all the time, and like sometimes it's very profound. Sometimes it's like I'll go there and the guy will have an experience for the very first time. It's all there's no coincidence. So yeah, that's like a no-brainer to me when you say that. They're constantly connecting people together. Yeah, absolutely.
right. Well, they connected me with Arla, and I thought that was a great connection. I don't talk to Arla all the time, but I'd love to get back with her and do some more. But that'll
Yeah.
that'll soon tell. Whatever. But
I
I
got
am
a
gonna get
last
off here.
I got a last question for you. There's a lot of people who don't get out in the woods much, but they feel a connection to Sasquatch, and they have a pretty good dream connection. The Sasquatch come in their dream and have these little dreams. Do you ever have any dreams? Do you have a connection with Sasquatch in your dreams? They come by and they look or whatever.
Yes, and I'll go ahead and tell this one last story. When I call him Mr. Gray because he was an old Sasquatch, the one I told you got in the scope. It wasn't probably a couple days after I seen him, I had a vivid dream, and he explained to me that there were three other Sasquatch in that group. There was a teenager, an adult male, and a female. And the female was pregnant. That's what I was told in my dream. And the strange thing is, and I got to tell this like this too, is when I got the picture of the baby Sasquatch and the mother, she had had that baby after that hunting season.
Oh.
So she had that baby in her arms, and that was part of that group. You got the alpha male, the teenager, the mother, and of course the old one. I think he was more the knowledge. I could feel that, when I seen him, I could tell he was the hierarchy of the bunch, even though he was older.
Yeah.
He was the wisdom. He was the wisdom of the clan or group or whatever you want to call them. That dream did happen to me. And the strange thing is, I got a picture of her with the baby. And it wasn't, I'd say that year. That's the same year I got the picture of the baby. Well, it was spring of that year. So.
If we have you on again, we'll have to figure out how to screen share and see some of those pictures because some people are asking about them.
Okay. Well, what I can do, I'll get them out and all that stuff, and I got some of them on my phone. I'll send them to you, and you can distribute them on this.
Sure.
On this Pork and Beans show here, or you can show them another time. I don't care.
I'll put them on my YouTube. I'll put them on the YouTube video of it when I do the edited one. I'll put them on there. So send them to me in chat, and I'll put them on the video. Yeah.
I sure will. I'll do that. Let me get something to eat first, and then I'll dig those out. And
oh yeah,
there's no hurry on that.
No hurry.
What a great guest you've been. I'm really honored that you share your story and you have the courage to do it. People need to hear this. They need to
Well,
hear that we're not the top dog 100%, and that we're not alone. You know.
yeah. Well, I used to be scared to tell my story, and then finally, I got to the point where I didn't, I'm at the age now I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. They're not paying my bills, so you know, that's the way I look at it now. I don't care. I'm going to tell it how I see it.
You might tell 10
Yeah.
people that think you're crazy, but you're going to tell one person that's going to change their life and open something up for them. So
Right.
that's your payoff.
Well, I've been around several friends, and when they found out that I was into the Bigfoot, into the people, they started telling me their story, and they said they never told nobody because of the flack they would catch.
Yeah.
Now, some of these people are, at least one of these friends that told me his story, he's a big time manager for a corporation. So he don't want to let everybody know he believes in that. I asked him, I said, you tell anybody at your work? I ain't never telling nobody at my work, he said, and I understand it. That's the way I was. Now everybody at my work knows I'm a Bigfoot enthusiast and love it. And every time I go camping and they know about it, they say, well, did you see Bigfoot? That's the first thing I hear.
Yeah.
And they're joking with you, But
There's a request from the messages that they were asking if you'll put your make a little post on the Pork and Bean Show and put your photos out there on the Pork and Bean Show group. That way everybody can see them, whether it's with the video or not. Would that be all right?
I sure will. I don't mind. I just, I'm willing to share them. I just hope that people don't share them with, ill intent. And I'm sure
No, the Pork and Bean Show is safe, and the Spiritual Sasquatch group is safe.
Right. Okay.
We don't play around. We got
'Cause
dog
I had
man
that
admins.
happen. I've done had that happen. I've been called crazy before. I'll accept it.
Hey man, we got to talk truth. We can't be holding back.
Right. But I've enjoyed being on the show, and I hope everybody else liked it. And maybe we'll do another one because
for sure
maybe we'll do another one sometime because I know
or you can
other
just
things
stop.
are going to happen.
You can just stop in when we have a round table, or just stop in when we have a guest.
Yeah. Or we can do a show with you and Greg, or just or you get on with Greg or something. I'd like to get him on there too. He's got a lot of good stories.
Yeah, he's he had to go do something for his daughter, and he's coming back. Maybe I'll get him to get on a live video or something with me.
Yeah. Well,
whatever. Yeah, do a live on the Pork and Bean Show or wherever you want. Hey, you guys got the good stuff. Good, solid men, trustworthy, and and just got a lot of experience. The people who have a spiritual or heart connection to the Sasquatch, they just blow all the other researchers out of the water. Like Barry Webster's here. He's just watching in the background. He's had 130 sightings over 11 years. He's seen them go invisible. He's bring people out there. The people he brings out there, they all have experiences. The people who have that heart connection, a spiritual connection, just blow all the other researchers out of the water. You know what I mean? These other guys out there going out seeking around, they go 60 years and they have make like a few tree knocks and footprints, and that's crazy.
Well, I don't want to be compared to a researcher. I'm just a big enthusiast person that loves them.
Yeah. No judgment. But the thing is, the connection with the Sasquatch is a heart connection and it's a teaching connection. The researchers are not considering that, so the Sasquatch really are not interested in showing them that much. It's just the way it is.
Well, until you put yourself on their level spiritually, I would say with your heart and your mind, you're not going to have things happen.
No.
You know,
Cannot.
and and I'm not saying go out there and eat roadkill if you know, but at least you got to put yourself in their shoes and somewhat mentally, and you know, and of course, uh, you need to get out around where you know forestries are and stuff. Um, I I don't hear a lot of cases of them coming straight in the city, but I have heard that. But if you don't go out, you ain't never going to have nothing happen anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
they can come right in your yard. They come right in my
I
yard.
don't go out, and I've had experiences like every week and every month since 2012. So I don't go in the woods. It's just not my thing, you know. But they still
yeah,
come to me. They still touch me, and that taught me a lot.
right. I'm not
So,
saying that it don't happen, but you know your odds. You know, like me, I like to go camping. I go every year, and just like now, I mean, I'm here to enjoy camping, and if I have an experience, so be it. If I don't, so be it. It probably wasn't my time to have an experience, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just
well,
be happy.
I like that we're ending this on love, you know, because pretty much love is the foundation of the universe, and the Sasquatch have another whole category of love out there: love for nature, love for animals, love for the environment,
yep,
you know, love for each other.
yep.
All
I
right.
believe that.
Well, on behalf of Port Cunningham and
And
Frank,
Frank Oliver Beans.
the world's handsomest man, this is the Pork and Bean Show, and we'd like to thank our guest Tony Maples for stopping in, and thanks
Thank
everybody
you,
for
guys.
checking us out, and see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you.
Mr. Beans is the world's handsomest man, and didn't you write a song about that, Beans?
Yeah, but I'm busy, so you have to do that when I'm not
Aw,
busy.
for Pete's sakes, man.
I'm so beautiful to me. Can't you see? I'm everything I ask for. I'm everything I need. I am so beautiful.
Oh, oh, that really cheered me up there, Beans. You're beautiful. Your beauty is blinding.
You guys are hilarious.
What an absolute beautiful voice he has. It's just like from the gods, from
It
the
is.
heavens.
My dog just covered her ears.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's never heard anything like that before, right?
Over bridge of sights to rest my eyes in shades of green, under dreaming spires to Ichiku Park, that's where I've been. What did you do there? I got high. What did you feel there? Well, I cried. But why the tears there? Tell you why. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. I feel inclined to blow my mind, get along. The decks were red marked. They all come out to groove about, and I sat her fun and listened. Tell you what I'll do. What will you I'd like to go there now with you. You can miss out school. Won't that be? Why go to learn the words of who? What will we do there? We'll get high. But will we touch there? We'll touch the sky. But why the tears there? I tell It's all too beautiful. 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 It's all too
Oh, that's a groove. That really is a groovy song there from the small.
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart?
I'd say you've had enough.